Yeah, that was funky.
We're live.
Yeah,
All right.
we're live. Toronto
Toronto
Talks.
Talks.
We
February
don't whisper.
20th.
We don't yell. We just talk.
We just talk. Depends on how much coffee we've had.
Hey.
We've had some yelling in here.
Yeah, we've had a lot of yelling here.
Should we yell right now?
No,
depends
no,
how you
man.
feel, man.
Hey,
We don't
shout
get
out
to
to
yell.
Kenny G. You know what I'm saying?
Like the jazz musician Kenny
No,
G?
not the jazz musician.
Oh,
Kenny G.
man,
That's
that's
my
right.
cousin Kenny G.
What up, cousin
Shout
Kenny?
outs to Kenny G.
Cousin Kenny
no,
G.
let's
What's
get-
up,
get
man? What's
confused,
poppin', man?
But he
Shout out to
can't
cousin Kenny.
play mean skin flute. I'm just playing, Kenny. I love you, brother.
You love that.
Should we
skin
tell the
food,
story? Have you told the story on
Yeah, we
here
told
about
it
you
on here.
asking?
And I told it on 6
Classified?
Degrees Radio last week, too.
man. Wow.
Shout out Classified and
That's a
Cousin
serious
Kenny G.
story.
And of course, he posted the clip and ran with that as the headline.
Wow.
Maloney tells awkward classified
Yeah.
interview story.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
at least
whatever.
yeah.
I set myself up for that.
Maloney's out here just-
I got outflatted.
You got outflatted.
I got
Flatted.
Oh,
outflatted.
outflatted. I thought
Yeah.
you said outflatted. I'm like, that is hilarious.
I was watching the fucking
Hey.
Team Skin Flute. Yeah,
Flat-
that's
Team
crazy,
Skin
man.
Flute.
Shout
Yo.
out Jeremiah Kenny. What up? Hey, you said it, not me.
Yo,
man.
Yeah, I said it.
If you
Joe,
played the
man.
recorder, would you be on Team Skin Flute?
Man, you crazy, man.
Like a
How many
man
people
cave?
actually had to use
Wow.
play the recorder? I think we're all
I think we all had
been
the
impressed to
recorder.
do that. And like, why?
The man said he's hella confused. Let's explain the
Can we make
concept
some
of the
noise
show.
for fuck the recorder? That's the worst instrument of all time. When was the last time you ever heard a hit record that had a recorder played in it?
Yeah, that's
Even
serious.
a good
Kill
record.
Bill.
When's the last time you even heard a
Kill
good
Bill.
song that had a recorder in it? Like, why you guys get me to play this trash instrument? How do I tap into my creativity on a fucking
Recorder.
plastic fucking flute that
Maybe it was
Because
part
of
of sex ed
five
class or
notes
something.
on
I don't know,
The
man.
last
Shout
song
out
was
to Jessica watching.
They should ban that, the recorder.
Nah, man. If
Yeah,
it wasn't for the recorder, we wouldn't have
should be-
Sanfear.
No,
You
recorder
understand
should
that
be
Kill
banned.
Bill shit?
Yo.
Nah, you know why they get
cancel
the,
the recorder?
You know
right
why
now.
they get kids to play the recorder though? Like
Because
two
it's cheap.
reasons. A, because it's cheap, and B, no, because
It's
it's
annoying.
no, because it starts to unlock like the left side, right side parts of the kids' brains. So they start to like see like who's musically adept
Porn
here.
can do that too. The recorder, sorry,
Versus
it
porn.
wasn't really intriguing me
Oh
when
my
I was
God.
when I was in school and they're like, "Oh, take this thing home." And they give
You
you a
like hot
carrying
cross
case.
buns,
yeah.
You're like, really? I gotta get a carrying case for this piece of
Yeah,
shit.
nobody really cares about that.
The
Nobody
recorder's
reminisce and be
trash.
like, I remember back in school.
Trying to play hot cross
Yo,
buns.
Kenny G, love you
Yeah.
too, brother. Rest in peace, Lip. What's up, Jessica?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace, Lip, as well. Too.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get those out of the way,
Yeah.
man.
I guess we
Unfortunately,
have
you
to
know,
get the
Yeah.
out of the way.
let's some humor, but let's get that out of the way. Unfortunately, rest in peace. You know, your boy Lipinski. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
rest in
definitely
peace.
really sad, man.
Yeah, man. It's kind of hard to talk about. Don't really know, what to really say without like explaining the whole story, which is a long and yeah.
You ain't really gotta explain the
Nah,
whole story,
stories.
like, you know.
But yeah, unfortunately,
peace,
he passed
man.
away last week. He was, yeah.
We've talked about him on the show. We've talked about
Yeah,
his
we talked
issues.
about him on the show. Yeah, man, he's he's part of Breaking Records. He's part of my group before that, Icon. Me and him recorded our first 2 songs together ever.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's Encore beat, and I'm pretty sure the Twins beat by Big Pun and Fat Joe.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
a killer beat, bro.
So yeah, man, that was my fucking bro. Yeah, unfortunately, he'd been going through some hard times for a while. So he has an album that he's actually recorded. So we're gonna put that out for him. We're just Innocence is back. It's the first time Innocence has been engineering since he got married. So
Shout out to
shout out
Innocence.
to Innocence, kind of
Yeah.
getting back in. But yeah, so he's engineering it all right now, and we're gonna put it out once we feel like we have it right. Maybe do hard copies, do like a fundraiser, something like
Yeah.
Brian's sister was
Yeah.
saying, something like they're thinking doing a fundraiser. So yeah, you know what I mean, and something like that. We could put the album together for him, and any of the money could go towards whatever they decide they want the cause to be.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, so that's kind of, the moving forward. I know he'd want the world to hear the album, like he was so proud of it. He's had it written for like 5 years.
Wow.
Just the thing that he, the position he was in, he just wasn't inspired.
Yeah.
It was already like recording stuff too.
Yeah,
He just
yeah.
wasn't inspired to really finish it. He had 2 songs he wanted to re-record or something like
Yeah.
that. But he recorded them at another homie's of ours,
Okay.
Don Say. He recorded the whole album there first. then when Innis opened the studio in Saga, the nice studio, he went and re-recorded all there.
Yeah.
So I believe between the two studios, we have every song he wanted.
Okay.
So, that's the plan as far as musically. But you know, Lipinski was a great MC, just a great person all around. Yeah, man, it's fucked up. It's sad. I feel so bad for his family right now.
Yeah.
He affected a lot of people, man. A lot of people back in our hometown, Brantford, like they, you know, highly regarded him as a MC, just as a human being. Like he's, you know, real social butterfly, a lot of friends,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
tell. I've seen a lot of you know, RIPs for him and whatnot this
Yeah.
week. So you know.
but he was very inspirational to a lot of the music scene going on there currently as well too. So, you know, a lot of the artists who are kind of, you know, doing their thing now showed love, which was nice to see. Yeah, man, you know, he's just a great fucking person. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, we never got to make our album together, you know, we always
Yeah.
wanted to do that. There's just all these things, but, yeah, you know, I could talk about Ryan for fucking hours. But we, Chase March on Word is Bond Rap Radio, I called him there, what's today, Wednesday? So last night I called him there. And, you know, we had a thing set up for me to promote my new song, Sunrise. And we had to set up, and it actually just kind of, it got postponed, I think 2 weeks in a row. I think one for my reasoning and one for Chase's, either
Yeah.
way. So it just kind of happened to fall on the
On
Tuesday
this, yeah.
afterwards. So I asked Chase, I'm like, yo, would you mind if, like, you know, we'll play my new song, I'll talk about it for a quick minute, but I'd like to take the time segment out just to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
represent Lip. So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what kind of radio play Lip had ever had before that, because his last album he ever put out was 2012. They were
Okay.
working on this music, right? But just kind of, you know, wasn't really in the space to put it out. So I don't even know what he ever had played on the radio. So, you know, that could have been his first, aside from like breaking record songs he was on that I
Right.
submitted. So
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of cool. You know, I think he'd be proud of that.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, man, it's just unfortunate. Like,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
you know,
Absolutely. Well,
too
you know,
young. He's a year younger than me. So like,
well, way too young, bro.
yeah, man.
Well, rest in peace. You know, rest in
Yeah.
peace, Ryan. You know,
Yeah.
like I know it's your
Rest in
boy.
peace,
You know what I mean. So rest in peace from everyone here. Definitely got to tip our hats. You know, that's fam. You know what I mean. And
Yeah, man.
you know, is
Yeah.
what it is. You know, again, rest in peace to our boy Jamal. You know,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah,
our boy Jamal
unfortunately,
passed
yeah.
away over this weekend. So rest in peace to him. Rest in, you know, and condolences out to his people. I mean, me and that dude, we go back to like Mornell Court. You know, and it just seems like there's a lot of that going around right now. A little
Yeah.
bit too much. You know, so just protect yourself out there, folks. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah.
It's
You
true,
know, just
man.
be careful, man. Be a little cautious. That's it. You know, not
Life
telling
is
you what
short,
to do.
Man. Life is short.
Right, life's short, so you're gonna go out there and you're gonna enjoy your life, but be cautious, man. There's
Yeah.
a little too much RIPs going around right now, and they're just unnecessary. You know, so. I mean, on that note, though, fuck, man, what else is going on, man? Let's move on to some other stuff, some more, you know, like
Something
maybe
more
happy
positive,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Let's segue into
Before-
something else,
Before I
man.
do get off that too, though, I just
Yeah.
want to let people know, Breaking Records Radio this week, we're going to dedicate our whole episode to Ryan too. So if you want to tune in Saturday, 8 p.m., and that's www.maximumfm.ca. I'll obviously be promoting it and stuff so people will know. See you later, Jess. Thanks for watching. So yeah, that'll be a thing so people can listen to that too. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Yeah, just to dedicate love.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
That's what's
I
up.
don't know about that as well, but yeah, man, I say let's move on to something more positive right now.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
That's what's up, man.
What's on the docket?
Well, I don't really have a docket prepared at the
Yeah.
moment.
Oh, well, there's a lot of shit going on.
Do you think
Yeah.
you could like sell a grocery list that was the shape of a vagina and call it the docket pussy? Would it fit in your pocket?
The docket.
A docket.
The docket pussy?
You
know
probably
what I'm saying?
could, man. I'm sure if
Yeah.
you came up, yeah. I'm sure if
Especially
you
for men.
pushed it, it would
Yeah.
work, man.
You
They would
think
go
it-
well with the fucking 50 cent a day.
I was just gonna
briefs.
say you can sell it. You can sell it.
Yeah.
And feel like 50.
Feel like 50. Yeah, you can sell that shit, bro.
You can sell anything nowadays. man.
Actually, for the people watching, I have a question for you guys because you may not have heard the question
Oh
yet.
god, don't bring
But
up
would
the
you
fucking-
personally buy a pair of boxer briefs that were called Feel Like 50? Now, I guess this is more for the men, but I mean, I can't discriminate. Some women out there might want to feel like 50. So if 50 Cent put out an underwear brand called Feel Like 50, and you could pay, you know how like your underwear, you know, after you wear them sometimes they get the holes in them and stuff, whatever, you're like, damn, now I gotta go spend like $30 on underwear, like, damn, you know what I mean? But if you just paid 50 cents a day, you could feel like 50. And then every time you need a new pair of underwear, it's what's that same day shipping called?
Amazon?
Like couriered or whatever, like to your crib,
Yeah.
immediately, like within the hours, you have the underwear, and then
What's
you're
up,
feeling like
brother?
50 again. I want the people watching to let me know if they like the idea, because
The feel like
Yeah.
50 bucks, 50
Yeah.
cents a day,
50.
50 cents
You can
box.
feel like 50, but then you might get assassinated like 50.
Oh, shit,
you
nice shots,
think
like
Supreme
50.
would have beef with you if you came out with feel like 50?
Yeah,
Nah, but
man.
you see what happened with that cop? That's
Oh,
No,
yeah,
yeah. What is up with
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yo, we just segued without
yeah.
needing to segue.
Yeah, it's kinda
Shout out to
crazy,
Mike
man.
Stoan.
Apparently,
Right.
the police officer back in like July, he had like previous issues with 50 or whatever. But apparently, what he said during roll call was like, "Yo, shoot 50 on sight." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's crazy.
Or whatever. 50 got word that, you know what I'm saying, that was said on during roll call, like somebody dimed out, you
Yo,
know, the
shout out
sergeant
to
or whatever.
Jessie. She said she's sold, and it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. There you go.
wants
You
to
feel
feel
like
like
50.
For 50 cents a day, you could feel like 50. Ooh, yo, she hit it good. Get the strap. He could start
Yeah.
sounding strap-ons.
Yep.
Oh,
Or like the assless chaps.
Oh my god.
Get the strap.
Didn't thing lick his
The
booty?
overalls.
I don't-
Oh,
Didn't
man.
there's something about someone licking his booty on Vivica Fox?
Probably.
Yeah, something like that on
so
Dirt
if
Champs.
you really feel like
He
50.
likes to lick the butt.
With the segues on this show are
Feel like
fucking
50.
ridiculous. But anyway, back
Yes,
to the
yeah, back to the real
the-
matter at
Yeah.
hand.
So apparently, 50 got wind of that, and he's trying to sue the NYPD, and the officer's trying to say it was just a
The
joke or
bra!
something.
50 could do the bra. Get the strap with the feel like 50 underwear. Yo!
Feel like 50,
50
had- 50 said
50
handprints on a bra.
50 needs to hire you.
Curtis's secret?
Listen,
Oh
you need
my
to.
god.
Curtis's secret?
All right.
The new
so,
Licenza?
can you write up marketing plans for these ideas of yours and like
Yes,
DM
submit it.
50 on them?
Yeah.
See if this guy will hire you as like a marketing campaigner or something. You never know. Like you might get
That
a
would be
job.
fire.
Yeah.
You might get hired by fucking 50 Cent to
I would gladly
work up
take a
some of these
0.5%
weird ass ideas that you
royalty
can.
on like 50 just to know that it came into fruition.
There you go, bro. There you go.
And I would have to do the 50 Cent voice. I'd be like, you're not allowed. I have to do it.
Yeah.
There you
Yo,
go.
what's up? It's your man Curtis Jackson. You know what I'm saying? For 50 cents a day, you could feel like you meant 50. You know?
Yo, can you start an Instagram page and just call it Curtis Jackson and just do that voice and just say shit? Don't try to affiliate it with 50, but just read random sentences in that voice and just be like, yo, Curtis Jackson Instagram, and see how many followers you get doing that shit. I think that would be fucking hilarious. That would be amazing.
I think I should start doing
Let's
that.
do that.
You know what?
We're gonna do a
That's-
Curtis Jackson Instagram. You doing 50's voice.
That would make Ryan happy.
Let's do it. Let's
He
set
has
it
the
up.
most fucked up sense of humor like I do.
Let's make it happen, bruh.
Yeah.
Let's make it
I
fucking
feel like I gotta
happen.
do that just for Ryan so he can laugh up as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Please.
would get a kick out of that.
Please, you gotta do it, Curtis.
The Curtis Jackson
Yeah.
Instagram.
And then you can put in quotes
Just
like,
narrate like every day, like just like,
yeah,
yo, what's up? This your man Curtis, you know.
yeah,
Today we're gonna talk about
yeah, just something fucking stupid. Read a headline,
the
something.
Jesse dude.
Shout out Jesse Smollett. He might
Oh,
be,
man.
his career might be down the drain. I don't
Career, you
know
might be
what
locked
the
up for that shit.
Man, but are we gonna
Years.
believe the Chicago PD?
I'm not believing nobody till.
Are we gonna believe the
Speaking of the
Chicago
PD,
That
PD?
yeah.
what was? I need the rest of the 50 story. I'm sorry.
No
Oh,
problem,
so
yeah,
apparently
yeah.
he's just trying to sue them. The guy was saying, he was joking, and
Yeah.
let's see where it goes. I mean, I hope he was joking. You
Even
really
if you
gonna
are
tell your
joking.
squad, hey man, shoot 50 on sight? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Even
Come
if he
on,
was
man.
joking, those are the things not to joke about.
Yeah, you can't really tell your squad to shoot
Do you
somebody
think
on sight.
Nas really used to get chased by a cracker named Lieutenant Casper?
That's possible.
Probably not.
You don't think it was actually Casper?
It was probably a security
Yeah, it
guard
might
in the
have been like-
building or something, and he just kind of like
Or
embellished
maybe
It
a
might have
little
been
bit.
like Corey.
Maybe
not
just rap.
Yeah.
He probably just wanted to rhyme cracker with Casper.
Exactly.
Big
It
old
works.
cracker, Casper White. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
but isn't it
works.
so much cooler when it like life just makes it fit for you?
Yeah, kind of sure.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I was.
Haven't we
meant to- I
had
was
this
meant to-
conversation before though? Like most
Yo,
of this
God,
shit
I
is
was
just
meant to
like
dish you 15
fantasy.
years ago, kid. You know, Casp, yo, no,
It's like
But
Google search.
anyways,
no Casper.
so that's what's up with 50 Cent, and yeah.
And whatever else it was, he's always trolling. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. I think it might be like some type of marketing thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's whatever. Even if it did happen, he can still use it to market himself.
Of course.
So
He'll
who's
use anything to market that shit, man.
Who's more canceled, Jesse or Takashi?
Both.
Man, ooh, fuck.
They both sing in different ways.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Did you see that meme though, where someone's like, you know, they put up the meme where they're saying like these guys are stealing millions, they're you know, smashing his baby moms, they try to kill him.
Though? Like if I put a hit out on someone and you're my street dudes and you do it for me, and then someone else in our gang fucks up my baby mom, does that mean I'm justified in snitching now?
I feel
Then
you.
they also kidnapped him though. They kidnapped him too,
I was
right?
involved with you.
I feel you.
Like
I mean,
what?
you can look at it both ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they kidnapped him.
If we're hit for
Yeah,
the mob and the mob
him.
boss fucks my ex.
Yeah, but it wasn't just that they fucked
snitch
his
on the
girl.
mob.
Good question.
Am I
Good
standing
question.
above
I feel
that?
you. I feel you.
Yo.
Listen, like I'm saying, I'm not
If it
siding
was
with
just
you.
that-
If Joe didn't have to diss Drake over Karushi's pussy, if he could have let that slide, then why the like?
No, but it wasn't just about his girl.
Name drop.
He's
like
actually his girls
motherfucking game,
interviewed
bro.
on Vlad TV.
I seen that.
Yeah, I need to watch more of that
Yeah,
shit.
I don't watch.
She's
it.
dropping some background information on that.
Yeah, apparently he
Yeah.
used to wear dresses and shirts
Yeah,
that said
yeah, I
HIV
thought-
on them and stuff like
Yeah.
that before he had tattoos.
What type
And
of
he's
shit?
just a
is
He was
that?
doing some young thug,
weird
young thug
flamboyant
shit.
kid.
Word.
But
You know,
The
people
devil
I
can
don't know
fucking
who's more
shit, right?
canceled though. Who's more canceled?
Listen,
Both.
there's
Both.
pictures of Biggie out there with like 666 on his shirts.
To the blasphemous way.
That's
Shout out
true.
Chuck D,
That-
man.
That's why
Yeah.
DJ Premier got sued.
Yeah.
Because
For the 10 Crack Commandments.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the content.
That
of the
sounded so
song.
dope.
That is a dope song.
Man, it's so fire.
Fuck.
He didn't necessarily, I mean, maybe he didn't pay for it, you know what I mean? Maybe Chuck felt like, shit, I should get paid at least.
No, man,
Nah,
Chuck
he was-
didn't want to get paid. He
it
was
was
mad because the song was going to crack
morality,
sales.
The
yeah.
song's dope, though. The
Yeah,
song is
fire.
dope,
Yeah.
but, well, shout out Chuck. He's got his, you know, he's got his
His morals, he got his integrity.
Yeah, which I
You
can't take from
You
him.
can't knock a man for having morals, right?
Nah, man.
Everyone got morals and their own set of integrity.
But like when Tekashi gets out now, if he's not doing time, he's in witness protection.
Oh, he ain't gonna have no career. You kidding
Nah.
me?
You think it's
But,
canceled?
no,
for
He
him?
can't
I'll
show
say-
up in public.
I'll say
So
like
what?
this.
Like he could be like Prozac.
I'll say it like this.
Prozac 6ix9ine.
It's
The
not
thing
gonna
about-
Remember
happen.
Prozac?
Yeah, I
the
remember
cartoon
Prozac.
baby.
Yeah, it sucks to be you. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
Jesus,
See,
buddy.
Tekashi yelling over that, like
People are not gonna cancel him because
He's
they
done.
actually like his music. People that want to keep the street code, they'll cancel him. Those people who think he was a fuckhead from before, they'll cancel him.
but
No
But-
one's gonna financially back him for
But-
any music moving
Look,
forward.
I was
Well,
doing a party the other night, and somebody
that's
asked me to
true.
play his shit. I'm like, yo, he's a snitch. I'm playing his shit.
Yeah.
Dude's like, I don't care. I like his beats.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that still like. We're in a different era now, where even if you are a snitch, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I was in a barbershop and Fifi came on earlier.
Yeah, and people
Last
still
night I
rapping
was
to
like,
it.
this is kind of weird, and like nobody said
Nothing.
mumble. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Because-
But
yeah.
moving forward, no one's gonna financially back that guy. At least,
might, though.
not for 10 years.
We're in a-
At
we're in a
least.
spectacle.
No.
like, you don't think he could do what people accuse Tupac of?
No.
And just, like,
You know
go
what
under
he'll
the new
do?
Name, like
You
Black
know what
Ice
he'll
or
do?
something?
No. You
Is
know
that,
what?
was that the Tupac?
I'm not sure.
His name Black Ice or like?
I'm not sure.
I don't
But he
remember
could
that
probably
story.
do
It
that.
doesn't even
No,
sound
no.
like
What
Tupac
will
that
happen?
Because he can change his voice. He doesn't have to rhyme and yell.
In
and
my
scream.
opinion,
He can
what'll
s-
happen?
much. Maybe he could whisper like the Yin Yang Twins
Yeah.
and be like,
The whisper song.
Like if you hear his Spanish songs, look how he sounds on his Spanish songs.
Yeah, he does
whisperer.
sound mad different on the Spanish music. But in my opinion, what'll happen is like if he gets out, I'm not saying he's gonna get out because no one knows what's going
I
on.
don't know.
No one-
They're saying like
Yeah,
They
based
can say
on
whatever
rhymes.
they
Coming in
want,
saying,
but
like,
who has access to the
probably not gonna
paperwork?
do time.
His girl.
Who?
Yeah,
His girl's
the
reading the
paperwork's been
paperwork
coming
out.
She's reading the
Yeah,
federal
yeah,
federal
on Vlad
paperwork.
TV, man.
Paperwork.
You don't have to turn me up, I think,
Paperwork's
alright.
been coming out.
Yeah.
That's how
All
people
right, well,
know he's saying that.
regardless of if the paperwork comes out, here's the thing: if he comes out, no one is going to take that risk to financially back him for a music career. But what will probably happen is somebody will pay him for his memoirs,
Yeah.
and they will turn that into a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
And he'll cash in on that and make a lot of money. And then maybe
Like the
10
Mayhem
years down the
Moriarty
road,
thing?
yeah, kind
He's
of,
still
but
marked for
more
death.
money. But then 10 years
Yeah.
down the road,
No, I mean, homeboy.
Tekashi?
Tekashi.
That's what I mean. How's
What about
Tekashi
10
gonna
years down
pop up? He's gonna have to literally.
He
be
doesn't
like
have
a
to
cartoon
pop up. He's
character
in witness
behind the
protection.
screen.
he doesn't
He's
have to
witness
pop up to
protection.
do a documentary.
Do we think he's gonna pop up?
Like I
might,
said,
though.
in like 10
He's-
years.
Like with his craving for attention, do you think he'll be able to successfully live as like
Undercover?
a random person?
He clear.
He's not gonna, unless he gets those fucking tattoos removed. How Brandon?
You wear a
gonna
mask.
live?
You wear a mask.
Yeah, one of the two.
Wear a mask.
Yeah.
How? This isn't Mission Impossible, guys.
It's not hard.
Wearing a mask, like a prosthetic mask.
He can do whatever
Well,
the
you know
fuck
how
he wants.
movies a lot of times predict the future kind of
Yeah.
beforehand, like within 10, 15 years?
Wear a
Well,
mask.
Face Off
Yeah.
is now technically from 98, so
Yeah.
maybe Witness Protection has the technology to like take
Whose fucking
Nicolas
face did they
Cage's
switch
face
to
off and put it on
Tekashi's?
Tekashi.
And someone's gonna walk around with
Tekashi.
Tekashi's face?
To Cage Street.
Who cares
Yeah.
if they do or not?
So you guys are just
Nick
talking
Cage.
some
I'm just
science
saying,
fiction
anything's possible. We're in
shit.
an era of anything's possible.
Anything?
Literally. Anything.
You guys are talking some real science fiction bullshit
Anything
right
with an
here.
H.
You don't
All right,
say,
but check it
you
out.
say.
Check it out. They're gonna have to, if he's gonna go into witness protection,
You
you're gonna.
say so myself.
They're gonna have to pay for tattoo removal off of his face.
That's a small
Like
trick.
he can't pay for it.
Yeah, he's got money.
You think he's gonna have money after fighting all of this? After fighting lawyers?
You know
and
what I would be
stuff?
saying if I was the feds? I'd be like,
paying
alright, you
lawyers?
get witness
He's not
protection,
gonna
but
have a lot of
you get
money.
them tattoos removed.
He still get
Or else I'm
residual
letting
from his
the
own music.
wolves know
No
what's
one
right.
said, okay, we're not playing Tekashi because of what happened. His music's still playing on the radio.
His music's still playing, bro, but his I guarantee you his actual like lawyer fees are through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
Let's look at Tupac and why
Yeah.
Tupac went to jail in the first place. He couldn't afford to pay his own bail because he
Yeah.
was fighting all of his criminal cases
Yeah.
at that time.
You
Lawyers.
should have listened to Ho. More important is lawyer fees.
But when did Hope say that? Before or after?
Anyway, regardless.
This fucking guy, yeah.
Anyway,
You didn't say that after.
if the
Wow.
man gets out,
It is what it is.
he's gonna have to be isolated
That's
until
fine.
he gets his facial tattoo removed. No one's gonna invest money
And after
into
he
him.
says that's how it is.
Yeah.
Then.
It is what it is. What we gonna do, man? Like, so maybe
He'll
that.
get a
remember
Netflix movie
Remember
out
that
of it.
same dude you said who was backing him, who was the son of a
Right.
exec? You
Yeah.
never know. Behind the scenes, you never know.
Would you snitch to get your own Netflix special?
I wouldn't even put myself in a position where I have to fucking
Motherfucker.
snitch.
But imagine
Net
the-
snitch?
No,
Oh my
fuck
God.
that shit.
Yo, have
Imagine-
you seen goldensnitches.com?
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah,
have.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
the guy who actually started that site.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a
You should
matter
bring him.
of
You should
fact.
bring him on the show.
That's
You know
not
him like
something
that?
we can do
Why
at
not?
all.
Can he come with a mask?
No, unfortunately, he cannot. I'm pretty sure he's on the run for a hit and run that happened in the city last
Oh,
year.
say a word. And he's the one.
I-
So he at least he's not snitching on himself.
Exactly. But I'm pretty sure
He takes the
he's-
code of snitching so hard, he's like, I ain't even snitching on myself.
But yeah, he's
fam.
somebody that I met.
Wow.
I have met him.
We got you on camera. I ain't snitching.
I met him and one of the other dudes who started it when I was working at,
We
at a
gotta get him
spot.
on the show.
And he's like, yo, you gotta check out the site, da 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 da. He was showing me whatever. I was like, okay, dope. And then, you know what I mean, I knew him, whatever. And then I hadn't seen him for like a few months. He gave me a card. He was actually, and I can't even throw him under the bus, but actually, yeah, he was the president, if I'm not mistaken, if it's the same guy, I'm pretty sure he was the president of Fusion Radio over at U of T Scarborough
So
campus.
basically,
Wow,
you
say
mark
a
down
word.
who this individual
Right.
is. People just have to
Nah,
research.
Now I gotta look at Google. Like, who's the president of Fusion
Yeah, just
Radio?
Google. Do your
Yeah.
Googlers.
Say a word.
But yeah, I think he was.
He got
me
Nia up on there too. That's fucked up.
You were on there?
Nia.
Oh, Nia. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nia Singh. I was like, I thought you said me for a second. I was
Yeah.
like, what? But no, I did see
man.
that today, and I was like, oh shit, look who they fucking got on there. That's crazy.
That's
That's
kinda
fucking
whack,
crazy.
bro.
But yeah, I know the guy who started that shit. They were promoting hard body to me like 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Yo, check out my site. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
Golden
Cool.
snitches.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
mean-
the Snitch Awards.
But they
Yeah.
can't find him if he's unless his name's not registered on the website.
Nah, but I don't.
I doubt he is. His name is if he's on the run for.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
I mean, like.
I don't know. Just think about goldensnitches.com.
Yeah.
Like you're
It makes
looking,
it sound
you're
good.
looking like feds for Fed smoke
Yeah.
there though.
Yeah.
Like,
But it makes it sound like being a snitch is great, like golden snitch.
But did you see?
I know
did
that's
you
the
see what was
hilarious
on-
part about
Did you
it.
see it today though?
No.
You saw it today.
Oh, what the Ill Vibe Club?
Yeah.
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 Ill Vibe's on there for
Why,
the
why,
Straight Bars thing.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah.
So I really got familiarized with the whole
That was
situation for the
interesting.
first time today because
Yeah.
I seen that they have all the paperwork and shit with pictures of it. So
Well,
Ah,
I
you know
was
what?
like, well, I'm bored, so I read it and I was like, huh.
The
okay.
dude was scared of his mind, and he's not a street dude. Of course, he's
Nah.
gonna do that. And that's kind of almost like the Tekashi thing. Supposedly, he wasn't really a street dude. He got involved with some shit. Shit got too real, and he's like, "Oh shit."
Well, that's why you don't get
Sometimes
involved
you gotta
with
know.
shit.
Yeah, but-
Sometimes you just gotta know your place and just know where you're at and be like, all right, fuck,
Site
I
looks
need to
great.
pump the
And
brakes
you
and
have
cool
to
the
be
fuck.
They
comfortable.
upgraded the site, eh?
But you know what? A lot of people
They
become,
upgraded the site.
a lot of people become personally humbled after a situation like that.
Yeah,
man, but it is what it is.
I thought he would have got humbled after getting kidnapped and shit.
But Tekashi was already kind of personably humble, like rainbow hair and stuff. So like, how much like what's he gonna wear now? Like fucking like like a bowl cut and like fucking like
Yeah, he's gonna have
church
to really,
clothes.
he's really
Do
gonna
you
have to
think
change
that'll
his
be
face.
his new
He
like?
needs plastic surgery, bro.
Yeah, he needs extensive plastic surgery. He's not gonna be
Yeah.
able to go back into public just the way he is. Like he's gonna need a fucking haircut, tattoo removal.
All right, so if you
You
were
gotta see
Tekashi,
look.
if
They got
you
a
were
little picture of
Tekashi
him. They
6ix9ine,
make him look good. What the fuck? They make
Hey,
him look
man,
like
he
he's
made
a
it.
boss.
He made it to the pros now, bro.
What the
Check out goldensnitches.com.
Oh my
That is what
goodness.
it is, man.
It's making them look, and the full real name too.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
It's like a police database,
Crap.
but for snitches.
Craparoda?
Fuck
The
it.
name alone is crap. I mean, no disrespect,
Oh.
but
That's his name, though. That's his real legitimate name. Bro.
Alright, man.
Whatever, man.
Just because he blocked me on Facebook doesn't mean I'm just gonna sit here and slander him.
no, it's
I
not
don't-
like this,
whatever,
bro.
man.
I'm just, it's the segue, and he's on there. What the fuck? It's like he's the one who snitched, not us. We weren't in the situation.
This is true.
It is what it is. The website's just funny,
is
though.
Takashi on the site yet?
Nah, he might be. He's number 1, and he's number 3. So who's
He's number 1?
So who's number 2?
Wow. I don't know. They have a top 10?
I don't know if it's oh, I guess
I think
it's,
it's
Or is there only
yeah,
three
it's just
snitches?
random. It seems random.
Is there mad snitches or 3
Yeah,
snitches?
it is.
Look,
mad,
they go
man.
back in the
Should've
day
said
with
it.
some shit. Who's Anna Sage? Who cares? She's probably dead. Like, but I guess it's golden snitches. The snitches are all snitches.
Wow.
Can you like imagine that site got so big that like you couldn't if,
Bro, they were in the
like,
news like
yo,
a year or
you're
two
Fake
ago.
Goldie.
What's she snitching about? What do you got her
Yo,
snitching
her
about?
face
kinda
Goldie's
fucked.
a snitch.
Apparently.
Yo, let's
Not
cut
going to
this.
snitches. That's your girl, bro. What's going on here?
Let me
Like,
scroll up a bit.
what's Faith
She doesn't really
Goldie
look good in
snitching
this
about?
pic.
She doesn't look good
Face-wise.
ever.
Face wise, nah, it's not happening.
Faith Goldie does not look
Right.
very pleasant.
How's R. Kelly a snitch? Unless he snitched on himself.
Well, I mean,
He pissed on people.
Taking incriminating videos is kind of snitching.
Yeah,
on yourself.
yeah. Maybe, you know.
I heard that the police now have a 3rd video in custody.
Yeah, I heard that, man. Whatever.
Imagine what. But the guy who submitted it doesn't mean he's in possession of child porn.
Yeah, that guy should get booked. too.
Yeah.
That's
That's what I was thinking
crazy.
about.
Like I said, man, he should have been canceled a long time ago. We all
Do you
knew.
cancel R. Kelly?
I don't pay R. Kelly any mind, bro.
Come on.
Like, you know what I'm
Picture
saying?
with Doug Ford. That's why she's a snitch.
That's kind of weird.
Posing with police. That's why she's
But yeah,
a
R.
snitch.
Kelly isn't somebody that I really pay to mind.
Get the fuck out of here. This was the site doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, you gotta read me. Tell us whatever.
Yeah.
Man,
It
fuck
looks like it's
fixating
easy
on
for
that site
anyone
though.
to
We're
get
out
their
here
snitch
giving
clout on.
giving free publicity to other people's websites. We need to stop that shit. They need to pay us.
Yeah.
Listen, if they want
If
to
you
start
want
going
us
to our website,
to diss your shit,
yeah, pay us.
Yeah, we should have a segment
Pony
where
up.
we just diss something that's trash.
Pony up. But
We'll
as
come
far as
across
R.
a
Kelly
song
goes,
or
listen,
a fucking website or something every week, but it has
Yeah.
to be local.
there you go.
So we get all the smoke.
But as far as R. Kelly goes, look, man, the man's talented, but the man has some fucking issues. I remember one time just randomly sitting there. I don't know if it was BT or what channel. No, it was a YouTube channel, YouTube live channel, and they're playing all the Trapped in the Closets. And like I
Oh,
kept
man.
going back to the channel every 5 minutes. I'm like, yo, we're on part 12? I don't remember there being 12 parts. Also, I'm going back and like part
It's like
33.
20
I don't know how many
yeah.
parts. There's like aliens and gay cops and fucking cheat. Like, I don't know what was going on with it. It was weird. But regardless, you know what I'm saying? It's not a matter of like,
All right,
you know,
first,
do I
if
cancel
you-
R. Kelly, whatever. I pretend like the man doesn't really exist, even though he
If
exists.
you
but
need to make one trap in the
my mind is
closet,
gone, man.
like, all right.
Conceptually, I
You can
got
have
it.
demons in your closet.
Conceptually, is
Now you're
is
trapped in the
hilarious.
closet
It's
with
great,
the
you
demons.
know?
Okay, cool. 3, 4, 5 parts. How many parts of Damien did DMX make? 3?
Something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. How many
That
games are there?
man, for the man who said, I did too much dirt to go back now. I'm the reason my little sister smoking crack now.
got
All right,
lips.
fam.
Yeah.
He's got demons.
Yeah.
He only had to make 3 Damiens.
Right.
R. Kelly, once you made 5 trapped in the closets, we're like, this motherfucker really got some rapist
No, he was
issues
writing. He was
with him.
writing a soap opera or something, and it just turned
Yeah,
into some
why
weird.
you trapped? How many demons do you got? And then he gets to
A lot of
30,
demons.
it's like, damn. And then you made a 20-minute song called I Admit It. It's like,
Yeah.
this is the OJ of R&B right here. Like,
Oh shit.
cancel
the
this
OJ.
man. Cancel this man.
Leave Chair Girl alone.
Leave who alone?
Chair
Who?
Girl.
Whoa, who?
Chair Girl.
Chair girl?
Yeah.
Oh, yo, make
Chair
some.
girl.
Do we got to diss her or do we make some noise for Chair
Well,
Man,
this
I'm
are
not-
for endangering people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight
But
up.
you know
That's some
what?
bullshit.
See, who
I
are
find it
who are
weird
we
that
to-
everyone's
who
like
are
killing
we
the
to
next
know
day. They're all
she's-
like, "Yeah, I want to smash her." As soon as they saw what she looked like, it's so weird to me, man.
But yo, how are we to know that she's not mentally ill? Like maybe she,
I'm
maybe
tired of this mentally ill fucking bullshit.
yes,
man.
but
I've seen
This
mentally
is the
ill
way I
people all
mean.
my
You know
life,
how
and
some
they're not
people
30
just
years after
progress
they-
mentally at very slow rates? Like, you know how there's
Yeah.
some people out there who
And her
like,
friend should have stopped her.
well, they look physically normal, but
Then her
like they
friend
have
should've
like the
stopped her.
IQ of like a grade 3.
Then her
Yeah.
friend filming should
Well,
have been like, hey,
maybe-
put that chair down.
Cause yo, when I was in grade 3, I'm not gonna lie, I used to toss pumpkins off a bridge in Brantford. Like,
Yeah, I get
and
it.
my
Yeah,
tacos
yeah.
used to do it, and there's
Yeah.
a highway
Yeah,
underneath.
You're
but
at 8.
there's people that do it and they're of age and they know better.
You were 8.
But what if you're?
That's the
what
whole
if you have
point.
the mind of a child?
I know she does.
Then
Then she wouldn't dress like a thought.
Then somebody should have been like, hey,
Are
what's
you
going
sure
on?
though?
Come on, bro.
I don't know, man.
How many kids are dressing like thoughts without being enabled?
I think like mad.
Without being enabled, that their parents are not buying their clothes for them.
Ah.
How many kids are fat without their kids?
So am I
parents buying
wrong
food
if
for them?
like am I wrong if like my 13-year-old daughter comes up to me and she's like, I want this shirt and it looks slutty, and I'm like, nah, I'm like, you want to dress
You're not
like that?
wrong.
You gotta earn that money yourself.
Yeah, and then she goes and buys it and on
Yeah.
her own.
And then she's on Backpage.
Oh my god.
Do I feel guilt for that?
You
Yes.
can if you want.
Yes, because you fucked up if your daughter's on Backpage, bro.
Oh,
But,
maybe
like,
maybe it was a choice.
Maybe she wanted that Kim Kardashian
Yeah.
looking strap suit thing.
See, no, you
And I
fucked
was
up.
like, you ain't wearing that.
Here's where you fucked up, though. You taught her to value material objects more than she actually values, you know what I'm saying, the finer things in life. So because she really wanted this dress so much that she put the value on that dress more than she put the value on being, you know, a morally right person, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, that's where it's like, you fucked up by not teaching her that. You should have been like, yo, that
Okay.
dress ain't shit. You're
Well,
good with
so-
what you have.
So then do
Go
the
out and learn the
parents-
worth of $1, and then you can buy it if you want, but don't go out there and learn the worth of it by, you know what I'm saying, like selling something at 13 fucking years old, you know, just for this material object. That's where you as a parent have.
I'm
have
not
shown
saying go
her.
on Backpage. I'm just saying I
No,
fucked up.
you use that as an example, and that's what I'm just saying. Like as an example, like
But
you
how
gotta
much
show
a
your parents.
15-year-old making money?
I mean, go mow some fucking lawns, go babysit some kids.
All right.
Make
Well,
some
so now, with
cookies.
your logic though, so then
Sweep
do
the
the
floor. I'll
parents
give
have
you. I'll give
something
you
to blame? Do the parents in the R.
allowance.
Kelly situation have some blame? to
Of
carry
course
on?
they
course they
do.
do, yeah.
Of course they do.
Some of them have
They have a
enabled the
hell of a lot
situation.
of blame.
Some of them even knew his disposition and still kind of let their daughters be around him.
Yo, if you don't know where your 14-year-old daughter
Man,
is
you
at,
got
or
14 daughters, you crazy. That's
14-year-old,
right there.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna know where your kid's at all the time. But at the same time, like, you mean like, hey, man, like, something's weird here. Like, I can't imagine that 14-year-old girl went home after R. Kelly was pissing all over her and was just acting all normal.
No,
Her
we're
parents
like-
probably gonna be like, hey, what's wrong with you?
Why do you
seem a little
smell like
off.
that?
Yeah,
Weren't they
you know,
living in
like-
like his?
Why do you smell like that?
Weren't they living?
I'm sorry, yo. I'm not. Yo, fuck that. I'm like, nah, bro.
I smell the guy's bathroom floor of the warehouse.
I'm just
right
saying,
now.
like, parents gotta do their job. Hell yeah. Hell
smells
yeah,
like
parents gotta do
urine
their
of
job. And I understand the notion
poison
that some
cement.
parents have to work and some parents are,
And new
you know,
edition.
busy, but you got to know your kids.
It's
You
like-
got to take the time to know your kids and know what's going on in their life. That's just called being a fucking responsible parent.
Wow, golden showers.
Hey,
They exist.
make some noise for golden showers.
Golden snitches, golden showers. Golden snitches should get golden
Yo,
showers.
golden snitches should get golden showers. If you are on that website, you should get a golden shower by the person you snitched on.
Hilarious.
That is fire.
That's redemption.
That's redemption.
Oh my god.
Snitches get pisses.
You ever see the Boondocks episode where Grandpa didn't know what a golden shower was? It was the fucking Boondocks episode where
No.
they're making fun of R. Kelly in his trial. And
Okay.
the grandpa's like, I like golden showers. What's wrong with golden showers? I want a golden shower. And the kids are sitting there dying, laughing their asses off. Like, Grandpa, you know what a golden shower is? They're just sitting there laughing their ass off. Shut up, Grandpa. What's wrong with golden showers? I want a golden shower. It's John fucking Witherspoon.
You know what? I like deer too. Someone give me a butt cake.
Oh my gosh.
Yo,
Why does this cake have an E on the end of it? That's Bukkake. Fuck it, give me a butt cake.
oh my god.
I'll take a butt cake with my golden shower.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like MC Hammer's living.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
yeah,
gold
yeah.
ceilings and shit, golden showers, butt cakes.
Golden shower sounds so
Pumpkins.
nice though.
Yeah, I know.
It has this nice ring to it.
Yeah, butt cake
But,
doesn't have
yeah.
much of a nice.
Yeah.
Unless you like venison so much, you would have a cake of it.
What is venison? Butt?
And a deer.
Venison's
Deer
deer.
butt?
Deer bucks. Aren't
Hey,
they all like
oh,
the same family?
Speaking of deer,
Oh, okay.
speaking of
I
deer,
don't know. Am I being racist?
No,
racist
no.
to
no,
deer?
no, venison is what you would
I
call.
thought it was
I'm just like
veal and
generalizing
shit.
them all. Like
No, venison's like it's deer
deers
meat.
and buck.
I thought you were talking like about veal and shit.
No, isn't a buck just like a baby deer or a
Isn't it
baby?
from the male and the female.
You might be.
Something like that?
No, I think it's like a doe and a stag.
doe and a stag.
I think but a buck is a young male's a buck because it has the horns, right?
Yo.
So yeah, but did you hear about this crazy
Buck
deer?
my gun like a male deer.
Oh my gosh! All right, man. Did you hear?
Rain heavy on you
sakes.
with my ice glistening till the hail's cleared.
Half the show is just this guy's random fucking lyrics. But anyways,
Yo, my gun the size of the Eiffel Tower.
fuck. All right, you like motherfucking golden showers? We get it. Eiffel Tower golden showers.
Golden showers.
There you go. But
Buck cake
anyways,
and golden showers.
Feeling pissy.
apparently,
Feel pissy.
fuck's sake.
Yo.
Can't even like get the fucking question out of my mouth.
Okay.
So apparently, there's a disease right now.
Oh, the
that
goat
the fucking
the
deer disease.
thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
the deer zombie disease. I was waiting for you to fucking like
What?
interrupt me. That's why I paused.
No,
you
maybe
off.
this is the
But
real
there's a
zombie
deer.
apocalypse.
That's what they're saying. They're
And I
like
was like,
saying.
all you people talking about this for the last 10
Deer
years.
zombie?
Mad
Yeah.
pussy.
What the hell's that?
Y'all looking mad
So
pussy.
there's a disease that some deer are getting where basically it's a degenerative disease
Yeah.
and their brains are kind of, I guess, going to like a weird spot where the receptors are not feeling pain or whatever and they're just kind of like turning into zombie-like
So
creatures.
that's what happened in Oshawa with the deer that went through the fucking glass?
I didn't hear
At the
about
bar?
that. What?
Yeah, this happened
Say
a few weeks
word.
ago.
So
Say
it's
a
like,
word.
it's like Bird Box for deer.
I haven't seen Bird Box.
Whoa, Bird
Shout out
Box
Bird
is
Box.
real. Except the deer are the one it's affecting.
But apparently
We
it's
gotta
in
watch out for
24
like
states
stags
and
and
2
bucks
Canadian
jumping through our front
provinces.
Yeah,
window.
That's
that was
crazy.
on Oshawa. There was a fucking deer that broke into a fucking bar.
It might have been. It might have just been
Yeah.
a
And
text
it was
on
just
like
chilling,
reflection.
sitting on a fucking stool.
Give me a shot, bartender.
Yeah.
Word.
Smashed right through it.
It might have been, or it might have just been the deer like saw a reflection, was all dazed and confused or
Fuck
whatever.
yeah,
but
brother.
yes, apparently it's like some
So the
zombie
deers are
like.
gonna go amok on us.
No, but it could. I mean, maybe, but it could be something where if you eat like that meat from an infected
Don't you
deer.
turn into a zombie too?
Well, we don't know yet, but it could be like mad cow disease, or it could be something where it turns people into whatever.
You trying to be a zombie?
Hell no,
Zombie.
man.
Nah.
You live forever, baby.
Maybe Rob Zombie.
You die
but,
forever or whatever.
You know, living dead girl or something. I don't know.
Dragula!
No, I don't want to be a zombie, man. That'd be horrible. Cause like if you think about
Do
it,
you think there's a niche market for that kind of porn, like
Zombie porn?
Deer zombie fucks like.
deer zombie.
Let's Google that.
Oh my.
You know, people are into weird
You
bestiality
could,
and shit. Like maybe
you could
people
kinda
want to
start
watch
that.
a girl suck a
There right
Zombie
now. There's a
deers.
category for you to start right there, bro.
rotten genitalia.
There you go, bro. You can start
That's
that shit
crazy.
yourself.
I never really saw that shit.
Yeah, Google that shit, man.
I'm not,
Zombie
trying,
deer.
I'm not trying to see no fucking.
I thought you
You'll
were
look
gonna
at a
say
blue
zombie
waffle,
dick.
but you won't look at a
No,
deer
Blue Waffle
zombie.
was just a joke because I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Blue waffle's basically a zombie vagina.
It is. Imagine seeing
You're
a
not
shit with
wrong.
Where's
You're
the
not
lie?
wrong.
Where's the lie?
You're not
It's
wrong. with
Rumpalicious.
that. Horrible.
that. Someone licking that shit.
That's crazy, bro.
Hey, shout out to Jessie for watching with us all this time. She
Yeah.
had to feed the baby. She said salute. She was
Salute.
having some laughs with us.
Yeah, yeah.
Feed that
She
baby.
enjoyed her time on Toronto Talks.
Peace out, Jess. Have a good one. Feed that baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just on
Yeah.
golden snitches.
So what else is on the docket, man?
The
We got
pussy
some-
docket.
Oh my God.
What's up, it's your man 50 Cent. If
Oh,
you
shit.
a fan of Feel Like 50 or to get the strap
They
bra
got Tekashi on
collection,
here.
you might like
But
the
they got certain people
docket
on here
pussy.
that shouldn't be on
Former
here.
businessmen out there that like to get the
Mike
pussy
sitting here
on.
judging who should and shouldn't be
Nah,
on
because it's like-
GoldenSnitches.com.
Okay, they had the guy Hassan Campbell, you know, the whole thing about African Mabada. It's like, dude, that's not snitching, dude. Like the guy, if African
Yeah,
Mabada
that's not
molested
snitching.
him, that's not
Mm.
snitching, bro. Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up, man.
I think
Like-
we're in like a really weird era right now where people are kind of confused on what snitching is,
Yeah.
what snitching isn't. Also, we have a lot of people online, like I'm seeing on Facebook, like, oh, fuck these motherfuckers, snitches. Like, listen, homie, you're not gangster. There isn't 1 ounce of fucking gangster in your body. If you got pinched for having like an open bottle in public, you're gonna snitch on everybody on your block that you know fucking just rolls dice in the alleyway. Like, I know you. You ain't that tough. Stop playing that
Yeah.
shit. You know what I mean? But first and foremost, snitching is if you're involved in a crime and to avoid yourself getting any type of punishment or get reduced, punishment you're willing to give up people who are involved or higher up in the chain in that crime that you're involved in. You know what I mean? Like, that's essentially what snitching is. You know, and then there's other things where it's like just being a tattletale, just being a bitch, or, you know, whatever. Like, you know, I don't know if it's snitching if you call the cops because you get into a fight with somebody on the street. You know what I mean?
I think fights should be exiled from all snitching. Like, if you get in a fight with anyone,
yeah,
unless it's a girl getting beat up by a guy,
right.
for any guy
That's
that's
not
in a
even
fight
That's not even a
Right.
fight.
and calls the cops, you are a snitch.
Now, if you're
Yeah.
talking like
Now,
one-on-one,
if you
fist
got-
to fist, or
If
you
like someone
talking like
breaks in your house with a
10-on-1 getting
fucking
stomped
crowbar
out?
and like
Right.
hit you over the head with it or something,
Right.
that's a little different. Especially if
Right.
you didn't warrant any street.
And I can kind of
attitude.
agree with that.
Yeah,
I
you
can
know what I mean?
absolutely agree with that. If it's a one-on-one, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're shooting a fair one. You shoot
But
a
if
fair
you're
one,
like
you lose, you
if
lose.
you're selling drugs and you're like a suburban white kid,
Yeah,
and someone does the same thing and breaks in your crib to steal all your blow
yeah.
and hits you in the head, like,
Yeah.
you can't call the cops.
That's where fine lines start to get drawn.
But
you know
But
what I'm
see,
saying?
there has
Yeah.
to be a definite line, because the problem is a lot of people do a lot of shit and then flag the fucking
Yeah.
white flag of I'm a civilian.
No, absolutely. And that's the thing. When you
No,
decide
when you-
to go down that road where you said, okay, I'm going to, you know, start doing whatever, you're not really a civilian, you know what I mean? Especially if you're selling anything harder than greenery. If you're selling that hard and you're really pushing it, you know, and whatever. But then I would
You're
expect it if,
fighting energy when you do certain
right, right. So,
But-
you know what I mean? It's choices that
But a
you make
fight-
as an
If
individual.
you ever call the cops as a man on another man for a fight, whether
Yeah.
you started it, whether he started it, whatever it is, if it was a fight,
Yeah,
you are a snitch.
yeah.
And
No, I
you're
feel
whack.
that.
You're not a man, actually. Like, if you can't handle a fight, you're not a man.
All right, but what if you got some big Andre the Giant ass motherfucker just
Yeah,
walking
yeah.
around slapping people on the street, like knocking them out with
Man
a
the
strap?
fuck up and slap him back.
No, we're talking a big 7-footer.
So
I know a dude who smacks people around all the time.
he
bro.
just walks around the streets. He's like,
No,
yo,
not really,
you
boy.
pussy fam,
He-
smack.
But I've seen him smack around a lot of people.
Yo, that would be a great comedy TV show. Like some big, like 8-foot dude who's just huge, and all he does is
bullying
just walk
people down the
around.
We
and
should
block.
get Jerry for
just
that.
bully fucking
We
strangers.
should get Jerry. You know
Just
Jerry?
knocking
One of the
motherfuckers out on the
tallest-
block.
I don't know if he's the tallest man in the
Oh, the
world.
5th tallest man in Canada
Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah,
Yeah. He's a
Yeah, I'm on
giant,
the
man.
show.
Yeah,
He's a giant.
He can't even fit in here.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
man.
big, man. He's like almost 8 foot. He's like, what,
Yeah.
7'11" or something?
Yeah.
He's a big
The
dude.
best is with him and Amal. Amal's a midget and he's like fucking huge.
Yeah.
They take
Yeah.
pictures together.
I used
Back
to see
to
that
what we
guy
were saying,
develop.
though. If you walk around life just smacking people, you're gonna get beat up one day.
Depends how
You
big
know
you
what I mean?
are.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
man.
Jerry's
I
hand is
think,
the
I
size of
think
your
as a
body.
man, you should be able to walk around this earth and smack any man you want as much as you want, as long as you're willing to invite the smoke.
There you go.
So as long as they pull out the gat and
Listen.
pop you.
If
That's-
Shaq,
You smack me,
Yeah.
what are you
you
doing?
can't be mad at my reaction.
If
Of
Shaq,
course not.
if Shaq
Unless I call the
randomly-
cops.
Ah!
Hold on, I got a question.
Because that's a
I got a
man
question, I got a
code,
question, I got a
man.
question,
You
I
know
got a
what I
question.
Okay, so if
It's a man code.
randomly smacks you.
If Shaq bitch
Are you
slapped you
gonna
walking
literally
down
go
the
to your
street, what
phone
would
and
you
be
do?
like, "Oh, I better call the police. Hopefully, Lieutenant Casper gets
Well,
here
it
in
is
time."
it is assault, right?
Fuck
Especially
that.
if you're
hold
not
on.
invited.
That's
It's not
all.
an
No,
invited.
but real
it's not
talk, real
invited.
talk.
I'm not gonna call the cops. I got knocked out once,
Yeah.
unknowingly.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
So big dude just punched my jaw. I'm on the
Oh.
ground. I didn't go. I'm gonna call the cops.
Exactly.
I just got up. I didn't know I was dazed and
You're like,
confused.
"Oh, you went so
You had no
far."
idea
And it
who
was
did
me
it?
and all his people. Nah,
You
it was
went
him and his
so
wow, that's
people,
horrible.
and it was me by myself and them. And it's like, okay, well, what am I really gonna do?
Yeah,
Now, if I
yeah.
was strapped and if I was that type of person, then
It could have went a different
Yeah.
In
way.
a different way. Yeah,
But still,
absolutely.
blowing someone's brains out for them slapping you. I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
the route
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
But you're not calling the cops.
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
But
You're
again,
more
let
of a
me-
man to
But
blow,
there
you're
are
more of a
dudes that
man to
will do
blow
that,
someone's
though.
brains out for slapping you than you are to call the cops.
But there are
on them.
dudes that will do that because
But let
they're
me
just
ask,
not
let me
built
What
ask.
the
like that.
manliest man does is he walks away.
Yeah.
Or if he's like, who's this little motherfucker? Like, I'll beat this man's ass, then you fight him.
Hey man, I might have to kick somebody in the balls. But
Yeah,
let me
no,
ask
But
you
a
depends
a
real
on the
man
question.
just walk
situation.
away.
All
Let me
depends
ask a
on the
question though. Let me
situation.
ask a question. If you're walking down the street and like, oh shit, it's Shaq. What up, Shaq? And he just bitch slapped you and kept walking. What would you do?
I'm gonna be like, yo, man's not hot.
Yo, as soon as
Like
I-
straight
man,
up, just pimp slap backhand, Shaq
Soon
backhand.
Yeah, I'm
money.
be like, yo,
Wow.
Shaq Diesel, I don't know the last time you threw a fist, but it's going down. Karate chop him in
Yeah,
the
a lot
fucking
of-
throat. I
Can
fucking
you reach his though?
kick him in the fucking nuts, punch him in the nuts, depends how
Just the
tall he is.
visual of
Headbutt
that
him
though
in
would
the
be
nuts.
hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to
Headbutt him
war
in
with
the
Shaq.
nuts.
You smack me in front of my girl on the street, you crazy?
But I feel you.
I
I
get
feel
smacked
you.
by Shaq Diesel.
I kind
Battle
of agree
me.
though. If it's a
Battle me,
one-on-one, if it's a
D's.
one-on-one and you're shooting the fair one, then
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
there's
different.
police shouldn't
It's what
necessarily
it
be
is.
involved. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
Like,
what if that person dies? Should the cops be involved?
I've had a friend who wound up in that situation.
Yeah.
He got rushed at a party, as a matter of
That's
fact,
not
by
really
a
a
group.
fight.
No, but they
Check this
fight,
out. Let
somebody
me
died.
finish the situation.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
finish the situation. So he's outside, saying smoking. He got rushed by like 5 or 6 guys. He, threw the punches and kept hitting him. Hit the one guy, knocked him out. Dude fell, hit his head again. He got rushed by 6 guys. He didn't know what happened to the dude. He fucking got arrested the next day.
yeah.
Whoa.
He killed the dude. Like, so he went to jail. He got off on self-defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But straight up, like, yeah, he was.
Yeah, that
he,
kinda
he
shit
was
happens.
defending himself and just boom, hit the
That shit
guy.
kind of happened.
Yo,
You know,
if 6
and-
dudes rush me and I catch a clean punch and kill one of them, I'm the man.
Yeah.
No,
Yo, like,
no.
that's-
that shit changes
But
your
he
life
didn't kill
forever
him
in
by
a
punching
negative
him.
way,
He
bro.
got hit.
Hey,
He
had
had
to
hit his
he
head,
had to
right?
do
You wanted the smoke.
You know how long you got to do in jail before they could prove that was actual self-defense? He
That
still had to
wouldn't
do
be
his
fun.
2 years in jail
Yeah,
for that.
yeah,
You know
That's
what I mean?
whack. Like, that's
So-
super
And
whack.
that's the thing about it, right? There should, like you said, there
And when you're in
be
there,
a
people are
rule.
gonna want to fuck you up because that was their boy, and they don't know what
Yeah.
happened, and you know what I'm saying. So it was life changing in a very negative
I'm
way
not
for
saying
him.
it's not life changing.
Yeah, but
I'm
nah, that
saying
shit don't make you the man,
If
man.
6 people attack me
Yeah.
and I kill one with my
Yeah.
bare hands while fighting 6 dudes,
It
Yeah.
happens.
It
It
happens.
happens.
bring me the smoke.
Yeah,
It
but that's what I'm
happens.
saying. If someone's on a one-on-one situation, or any
Just bring me the
situation, somebody
smoke and
dies,
start the show.
I'm not saying that anybody should call the
Yeah.
police or not,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it's
when
supposed to
someone
be
dies,
fair.
it's kind of a
Yeah.
gamble.
But again, you're fighting. with
But at
one
the end of the day, though,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, situations
Yeah.
happen. You know what I mean? Anything can fucking happen.
Yeah.
So you got to be mindful of the
There's
situation you're
death,
putting
there's
yourself
critical
in. and-
condition, there's
Not even just that.
certain levels of assault, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm not saying you should call the cops if you get smacked or not.
No.
But if you get smacked, you get a heart attack and die.
If it's some school,
You gotta
shit,
call
get the
anyway.
fuck
Someone's
outta
gonna
here.
call.
Don't go
Someone's
out
gonna call
like,
cops.
Well, that's
If
Depending
it's
on
your
the
mouth that
situation.
puts you in
Those
that
make
position,
the
get the fuck
situations
out of
more
here. You know what I'm saying?
severe.
Like,
Yeah,
you calling the
but
cops
But I'm
for that
talking
shit.
just a normal fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
a normal fight is different than being
You don't have to
slapped
call
by
the police
somebody who
over
doesn't
a
know you.
fight.
Some man's out here taking one punch from a person too scared to fight back and then calling the cops.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
the
just-
problem.
That ain't cool.
That's the
Well,
problem.
That's snitching.
If they're
That-
actually fighting each other.
I mean, okay, listen. I would say to
Right.
that, that's
Even
not
if it's
necessarily.
unwarranted.
I wouldn't even say that is
Eh.
necessarily snitching unless the person they got into the fight with was somebody they knew and it was provoked. If it just randomly happened to a random civilian on the street who, that's not, they
That's
didn't
what
grow
I'm
up in the
saying.
street.
That's the
not
test of your
snitching.
man card. You walk away or you fight. You don't gotta call the
Yes,
cops.
yes and no.
Crazy
though.
homeless guy comes up and punches me in the back of the head. I have one of 2 choices.
Yeah, no, I
I go throw down with this homeless guy, or I go, whatever.
and again, based on how I grew up,
Yeah.
I would agree. But there's not. There's
Everyone
people
doesn't
who
grow
did
up
not
that way.
grow up that way. There's some people who grew up in a way
Anyone
where
who
they
grew
were
up
taught to defend
prior
themselves
to the
with their
fucking-
hands, or taught to defend themselves with their words, or to flag the authority.
No,
Yeah.
you know what
So-
it is? It's all with this fucking soft PC culture and shit.
It's
Nah,
not
man,
even
this has been
that. It's
going
not
on
even
for
that.
a long time ago,
It's not
bro.
even that. There's people who there's men who just in general just don't ever want to fight.
That's cool. You don't have to want to fight. It doesn't mean you call the cops.
But
Yeah.
they weren't ever
Now,
they
this is
weren't
the
ever
thing.
taught to handle themselves in that
Even if
particular
someone
manner
does
at
walk
all.
away,
They don't
right?
know how to.
People in the no bullying era were
Yeah.
raised like that.
But this is the
I
thing.
think
Even before then,
I don't know, man.
Even if people walk away,
Where I grew up,
You can
was
walk
not
away
hard,
and someone
but
can still be
man,
attacking you.
Dudes weren't, a fight was a fight. It is what it is. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Dudes aren't sitting there calling the cops.
but even that
You know what I
same,
mean?
but
Like-
even in that same era, you
There's
had
an odd
you
dude
had
or two who
yeah.
were. They're
Yeah.
snitches.
It's no different. It's
They're
no different
snitch.
than now, bro. It's really no different than now.
If
And they
you-
actually end up catching more fists after that because then you just become a peon.
Yeah, no doubt. I wouldn't even say it's tattletale. It's a classic tattletale thing. You know what I mean?
That's what you would call a tattletale as a kid.
But this
Those
is
same
Yes.
principles follow to it all,
Yes.
and that's a snitch.
But this is the thing, though.
Yes and
Let-
no,
let-
because you could be a tattletale and not be involved with whatever is going on.
Yeah.
And you're still kind of the snitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's some school grade shit, and nobody
If
likes
I'm
a
in grade
tattletale.
4 and I'm
so you're
smoking a
taught
little
that.
bit of crack with my homie, and fucking
Yeah.
PE peeps me from across the schoolyard, and he's like, "Oh my God, he's smoking crack," and tells the teacher he's a snitch. And then if that same kid
But
is
you
walking
know
down
what?
the, and now if
Listen,
he's walking
if
down
you're
the
smoking
highway,
crack in
if
grade
he's walking
4,
down the hallway
yeah,
in high
proceed,
school,
proceed.
5 years later, and I see
Proceed.
Pee Wee and I smack his fucking computer out of his hands and be like, "Pussy."
Listen.
And then he's like, "Don't say that," and I crack him in the fucking nose.
But,
and
if
he
he's a, but
bleeds.
that's the thing, right? If he's
Hold
a
on.
pussy,
And he
hold
calls
on,
the
hold on.
cops.
Hold on a second. If he's
He's a
pussy,
snitch.
But if he's a pussy, and you know you can overpower and beat the fuck out of him,
Then you're a bully.
yeah, not even about being a bully. You're a bigger punk.
Yeah.
Because you're attacking somebody
But
you
what
know
if-
who can't fight
But what
back.
if it's the revenge for
Alright,
after 5
alright,
years?
Yeah,
hold
I
on,
get
You
that.
hold
snitched
on.
on me for smoking crack. And,
Alright, so
yeah.
hold on.
Right.
Now we
First
grade
and
9, you
foremost-
gon' get it.
First and
Why
foremost,
wait so long?
if you're smoking fucking
Miss
crack,
Eliza isn't here to help you
calm
anymore.
down, calm down.
This is a new school, punk.
If you're smoking crack in grade 4 and Pee Wee runs and tells the motherfucking teacher,
He's
saving your life.
no, he's a motherfucking lifesaver. You need
No,
to
man,
hug
he's a
that kid
snitch.
because you should not be smoking crack ever, let alone in grade 4. Get
No,
the
you-
fuck out
no,
of here.
he's a
He's a
snitch.
lifesaver
He's a
at that
snitch.
point, homie.
Man, he's a snitch.
I know
He
I
might
can't-
be, but I'm
What if
sure.
I just want to hit some rock in my grade 4 class? Like, it's like, fuck it, yeah. Cook it.
play baseball.
Oh boy, but no, I completely get
Most
what you're saying.
incredible,
Nobody,
baby.
nobody likes tattletales. Nobody likes
Just trying to
snitches
smoke
of
my
that
rock.
nature. And to a certain extent, based on how I was raised, I agree on the one-on-one shooting, the fair one. But there's not some men, like not all men are created. I don't want to say not all men are created.
Unleash
because
the
that's
crack
fucked up.
crack on the
But
guru.
some of these dudes weren't raised. You know what I'm saying?
Don't
Like, hey,
do
defend
it.
yourself with your hands if you got to. You know what I
But-
mean? And even to be honest with you, I don't know the last like fight that you physically been into. I'm trying to remember the last fight that I physically been into. Probably about like 2 years ago. So, yo, to be honest with you, it's not the easiest thing to punch somebody in the face. You know what I mean? It's not as hard as it is in a dream, but it takes a little. You know, there's like a little hesitation
That's
there
why I
before
don't
you
really
start
also-
swinging on
It's
somebody.
Also completely overlooking the one thing I said makes you a complete man.
What's
Walking
that?
away.
Ah,
You can
okay.
walk away and
You
still
can
I
walk
get
away.
said you. I wanted 2 options as a
True,
man.
but you
True,
can walk
you
away
can walk away and
True.
you can fight.
Time.
True. You
But
are
you
right.
can't
You can do
always-
one or the other.
You can't
No,
always
that's true,
easily
that's
walk
You
away.
can't call the cops.
No, I feel you. I
You
feel
can't
you.
always
I feel
easily
you.
walk away. And
I
I'll
feel
give you an example. And I'm gonna make sure that I keep
You
it-
can't easily walk
No,
away.
I'm gonna try to keep the details
There you
limited. Someone I know was attacked, right? Where he lives, he can fight.
Yeah,
The cops did get involved. Not that he wanted to get the cops involved,
right.
right? Because of whatever the situation was. So sometimes it's not so cut and dry.
Oh, I'll give you another
He
scenario.
was attacked by at least 4 people from what I
Yeah.
remember.
Well, I got jumped about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
In my building.
Yeah,
And I know the 2 dudes, right?
Yeah.
Like we were cool and we are cool again now.
yeah,
But it happened.
yeah,
I didn't warrant it.
yeah,
I ended up having to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I fucking like my lip was busted open
Yeah.
and shit. I ended up having to get stitches, luckily.
Yeah.
But, I went to the hospital.
But
I got asked.
every
What
situation
happened?
is
I got
different.
assaulted.
Yeah.
Do you want the cops
Yeah.
involved? No.
Every situation is
You know
different.
what I
though.
mean? I
Every
didn't warrant
situation
it.
is unique.
You know what I mean? I got my ass whooped. I didn't
Yeah.
warrant it by any means.
Yeah,
I was
but
going
again,
to smoke dude a
Remember,
blunt.
but every situation.
And
You're
I,
supposed
so
to weed
the
and
way I
jump you?
worded something because they were drunk, they
Yeah.
got upset.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, like, don't be knocking on my door on
Oh,
fucking
man.
4 in the morning on a Monday night. And he's like, what'd you
Yeah,
say?
but it's
And the
also
next thing
different when
I'm
people
getting
that you
punched in
know.
the back of the head, falling down 3
But
flights
this
of steps
also
and
is
shit.
different
Oh,
with people
shit.
that you know.
But
This is with
Yeah.
people that you know.
But
Now you could have.
still, if these
but
cops
no, yeah,
came,
no,
I'm
no,
not
no,
going to be like,
no,
oh, this is
no,
what
let them say
happened.
you
Like, I don't
could.
know who did it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course you could do that. You could actually do that. But you knew these people too. It's a different story.
That's true.
And you could have dealt with it on your own terms.
Yes.
Right? No, I'm not saying what my boy didn't want to deal with the police at all.
Yeah.
He's not that type of person. He was a street dude.
Yeah.
And he's I don't want to go into no more details more than that. But every circumstance is different.
Yeah.
Every
Absolutely.
circumstance is different.
Yeah,
And
that's-
yeah.
Cops might get involved without your willingness, but it's also a degree of willingness to what you
No,
discuss.
because exactly. And of course, he didn't say certain things.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
So
but at the end of the day, every situation is different.
that is true.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as a man, I feel like
So if
you're not allowed to call the cops
case
if you
in
get smacked or
yeah, of
punched
course,
in
of
the
course.
face.
So case in point, if someone wants a restraining order against somebody else because they're worried about their life or whatever the case may be, or what someone can actually do to them because they're not prepared to defend it, because that person is a certain way, that's their choice. If you want to call them a snitch, they're a snitch, fine.
Yeah,
But
you're a
they're
snitch by
yeah,
choice.
but they're looking out for their best interest because they don't want that. They don't want smoke.
Yeah,
There
if
you
you want
go.
to be a snitch, be a snitch.
Yeah.
But you're a snitch and you gotta wear it.
Yeah.
All right. We spent like enough time on the topic. It's a fucking it's a
Snitching.
weird topic. At the end of the
Snitches
day,
get
man,
pisses.
Yeah.
don't put yourself
So
in a
who's gonna?
position.
Oh man,
Stop.
imagine that, eh? I'm not gonna mention names, but
We should
imagine
give
if
the
that
golden
actually
shower
happened.
awards once a month.
The golden shower award.
And the best snitch or biggest dry snitch of the month.
We gotta partner up with GoldenSnitches.com.
Nah, but point-
Yeah, yeah. Catch a golden shower. We'll
Mike's
team
mad
up with
loud.
Pornhub too. and they can catch the golden shower.
But at the end of the day, though, man, like, don't put yourself in a fucking position if you're not willing to suffer the consequence if you get caught for being in that position. Point blank, period. You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
It's not always warranted, though.
What do you mean it's not always
Yeah,
warranted?
that's the whole thing. It's not always
It's
warranted.
not always warranted. But you
Sometimes,
still have
yeah.
a decision as a man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I could have called the cops on the guy.
But I'm saying in general, like, don't put yourself in that position.
But what if you're like walking to get your grandma breadcrumbs and fucking
Yeah,
someone
that shit happens.
punches you in the head?
No,
I've
I'm not
had that
talking.
happen to me.
I'm not talking about being. I'm not talking
I'm
about
rolling with my
that.
boy. I'm rolling
Dude,
with my
I'm talking
boy.
about
Yeah.
the whole, like, quote unquote snitching thing in general. I'm saying, like, do not, as a human being, like, if you know that you cannot handle the consequences.
Oh, like back
Oh,
to
snitching?
Takashi.
Yeah, in general. I'm saying in
Yeah.
general. Now I'm saying if you walk in the street and someone punches you in the head, you'll fight back.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. But all I'm saying is
Or
there's some
don't
men
fight
who aren't
back.
built, or don't
But
fight
don't
back.
call the
But
cops.
yo, what if this guy's crazy? What if this guy's, deranged and he's out there just smashing people? Sometimes, again, situations. Sometimes you might
Yeah.
have to. You might realize it's just because of public
You leave
menace.
that for another civilian to call the police and be like, there's a crazy guy here, young and dumb,
There's
that's punching every guy in the
circumstances.
head.
Nah, man.
I remember
Because what if you don't, and then all of a sudden, all of a sudden you find out later that somebody got hurt, and that
The
somebody was
person that's
somebody you
gonna get
related
hurt
to.
is that
or
guy though. You're not gonna. You're standing there punching mad people in the head. Someone's laying you out. Like you're not
Not
just walking through
necessarily-
like punching
I'm
people
not
in the
just
head.
talking
You know what I
necessarily
mean?
just punching people in the head. I'm talking like he's just
It's like
doing some
survival of the
sketchy
fittest
shit,
out here.
you know?
You know what I mean? Eventually, you're gonna punch someone in the head who doesn't play that. And he's gonna
At the end
blast
of the
you and
day-
punch you in the head.
At the end of the day, it
The
boils
cops
down to
don't
this.
need to be involved.
At the end of the
Everything-
day,
It all depends
no,
on the
listen,
situation.
everything
I'm not
goes
saying,
full circle.
I know exactly what you're
Okay,
saying.
but all bullshit, all
Yeah.
jokes aside, at the end of the day, it comes down to this. You have to be able to govern yourself in a particular way where in life, you are either governing yourself to survive in the streets or you're governing yourself in a way to survive in society. And sometimes you have to govern your way in a way to survive in both. But you have to know, where it is. And, you might say, okay, this street law, this, that, or the other. But sometimes, for the sake of society, you might have to throw that street law out. If you know, for example, this guy's out here being a fuckhead and he's going to hurt a kid. Yeah, you know what? Call the fucking cops because I don't want, my neighbor's kid to
this
get
guy
hurt. or
died,
whatever.
eh?
But I'm talking, saying
Well,
like,
that's a little different too. Now
Yeah,
we're talking about
and-
beating up random kids.
right. I'm not
Homeboy
just being
died, man.
oh, did he?
He
Good,
said that
man.
he killed himself.
He kind of
I mean,
deserved
killed
it.
his daughter.
He deserved it.
Oh, word,
he deserved
he
that
died?
Yeah,
shit.
he just died from
He
his
deserved that,
self-inflicted
man.
wound. Piece of shit.
He deserved to rot in prison for the rest of his life, but he also deserves fucking death. So, rest in peace to that little girl.
No,
that
you know
shit
what
was
he
mad,
deserves?
sad.
In a situation like that where you try to kill your kid and then kill yourself, you deserve to stay alive. Then you have
Like I
to
said,
sit and deal
yeah.
with that the rest of
Yeah.
your fucking life.
Yeah, but I hope he suffered. I hope
a
he suffered
fucking
for.
cell.
I hope he suffered for a week
Yeah.
straight before he died.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah,
it was a
hopefully he
slow,
was, like,
agonizing
cautious.
death
Yeah,
where
I've seen a lot of
all he
demons.
saw was his daughter's beautiful face the whole time he sat there and suffered. You know what I mean? Like if he died like that, I'm not even mad at that. And I try to wish death upon people, but you're gonna kill your own child on her
Yeah.
birthday, man. You can
Yeah, that's a
fucking
piece
you
of
could
shit,
die
man.
slow
And
death.
that was
bro.
Valentine's Day too, eh?
Yeah,
Not big on
Valentine's Day,
but that's some
little
fucked up
girl's
shit.
birthday. She's only 11 years old. That's her father. Like, man, that's messed up, man. And to all the people who were complaining about the Amber Alert,
Yeah,
that
piece of shit.
yeah, man, that's messed up too, man. Like,
Get a life.
man. That's one thing. Like, when
You
it
know
comes to
what?
kids,
I'm
I
not
don't play
complaining
around,
about the
man.
Amber Alert. My concern with an Amber Alert is at what length does it go to?
They have to update you, man. Because once they set it out, it can't just be like, okay, we set it out. They
But-
have to give you updates on what's going on.
So
Like,
what's-
okay, they were spotted in
but-
this spot, or
No, but to the standard of which it becomes acceptable. Because here's the one thing I found odd about the Amber Alert, and this is like, I'm not saying, like, I was not upset by the Amber Alert.
Right,
I was
right.
not offended
Yeah.
by it. I was
Right.
not, I woke up in my sleep,
Right.
but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
mad about it. Cool, I understand. To be honest, I woke up and I was like, Amber Alert, I'm like, oh, one of these things from the government again. And you read
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I just went back to bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, generally, anyone I know can text me in the middle of the night, and if I
Right.
happen to wake up, I'm
you're just gonna check and see it or whatever.
to see, oh, if that
Yeah.
person texted me, cool, bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My thing is though, where does it go? Like, what becomes the limit or the standard of which they can do it for? Because my thing is, That's not the first kid that's gone missing since they started doing.
Of course, there's
Ambulance.
been some in
There's
between.
been kids going missing.
No,
Kids
because the
go
difference
missing
is
quite regularly.
Yeah.
So
No,
why was this case special?
okay, because with this particular case, they knew exactly who she was with. They knew what vehicle she was
That more
in.
information,
They had the
yeah.
information that could potentially save her. When another kid goes missing, they don't know if it just
Immediately.
randomly goes missing. They don't know who it could potentially be with, what vehicle
Okay,
they're in.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything like that. They have to give a certain amount of time because maybe the kid just ran away, is going to come home. They knew the father was supposed to have the child home at a particular time, at a particular place. He wasn't at
But
his
had
place.
he sent
He'd
like
already
threatening messages
Yes,
at this point?
he'd
Okay.
already said to the mother earlier in
that
the day
makes
that
sense.
he was thinking of harming himself.
Okay.
So when the child wasn't brought home in time, the mother got really nervous. She told
Yeah.
the police. They gave it a couple hours and they realized, okay, this is what's going on. It's a parental abduction.
Yeah.
We need to throw out the Amber
Yeah.
Alert immediately because he could be driving across the border. He could be
Cross
driving
country,
anywhere.
yeah.
So at that point, they needed to, you know what I'm saying? And when they do it nationwide like that, let's say you're in your car and you get it, you know, it texts you the passenger and you look and that car drives by you on the highway.
then you're
you
like,
can
oh, shit.
report it.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
See,
so
that,
it's
that is why
important.
it's a great thing. But
Yeah.
does it get to a point?
They've only did it once this
They've
year.
only done a few, right?
Exactly. It's
But
not.
it's
It's
not
not
the first time I
everything.
got
But there's a
So-
lot of horrible stuff happening every day. So
Yeah.
where is the like? Where's the like?
Again,
The
they
limit-
had
my
the
thing is,
information.
if you start doing it for everything,
They had the information, so that's emerged. They wouldn't just do it if, like, okay, you know, some store got robbed or whatever.
I was gonna say if someone
No.
robs the bank,
No, they're not going to do it for that. It's a system made to save lives. It's not a system made to like tell you about news. So if, for example,
well, that was my concern.
yeah, no, it's a
Is
system made to
does-
save lives.
But I'm not even saying right now. Does it become that?
No,
No, you don't think in like
No.
20 years, when under a new generation of people
No.
who grew up on their cell phones and stuff, they're
No.
openly willing to
see,
daily
you
text
don't
from their
remember
government?
you don't remember the emergency test system. The emergency test system screens on TVs
Ah.
back in the day. Every 6 months back in the day, or once a year, the channels, I don't know if it was mandatory, but they'd be like, yo, this is a test of the emergency broadcast system. And it would be like this long ping, like, beep,
Yeah, I
for like 2
remember
minutes.
those. Yeah.
So these are nationwide systems that we have, and they've been in place since World War II. You know, when TV was around, World War II was around. I'm going to say World
So
War. I'd
it's
probably
like
say
the
from
new
the
version
60s.
of the-
Not even World War II.
Did
I'd
we-
say the
did we
60s.
get this
But they're
thing
around
during-
because we have the ability to nationally address people, like nationally communicate. So they're there for emergency purposes. Like, hey, there's a nuke being dropped. Hey, this storm, this hurricane, this tornado is going to wipe out, or it's coming for you, and it's like an F5, and it could potentially destroy this entire county. Get into your basements now. Like, that's what they're for. They're there to save lives. Yeah.
Okay.
So no, I don't think they'll be used for propaganda and media like that.
Well,
We
You don't
have,
think
might
it'll
be.
get to a point
No.
like that though?
But
No.
even if, like,
because no, your phone provider could do that already. You know what I mean? My fucking phone provider sends me coupons from McDonald's all the time and these other things. They can't use the emergency alert system, which uses all the cell phones across the systems, all the networks, you know, unless it's an actual emergency. And that's another reason why it would take so long to send one of those out, because they have to like say, okay, this is
Well,
valid enough for it to
and
do
once
it,
you
right?
explain it, it makes sense. But that's why I was kind of curious. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, like kids go missing a lot.
yeah.
I was like, so why
I feel
is
you.
this one case treated so specially? Like,
Yeah.
It's just they had all the
But I
information.
guess and
Yeah.
and they had a time frame in which
Right.
it was
Yeah.
still savable.
Right.
Opposed to a
We-
lot of
yeah.
time the information comes out like my
Yeah.
kid's been missing for 2 days. Or
Yeah,
like,
what's up?
You get
Yeah.
abducted by a random
you
person.
don't know anything.
You don't know who that is, right?
But I mean, that still to me is kind of worthy. Like it's like because you can send a picture out of the kid's face.
Yeah, but a lot of times when was so okay.
It's like
so,
America's Most Wanted.
so
on
if a
your
kid
cell
goes
phone.
missing, a lot of the assumption is they just ran away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay, yeah.
So yes, you could put out the kid's face or whatever, but again,
But then it becomes an
you-
issue starting to do these kind of things.
they usually give like 72 hours. You know, same thing like a person goes home like, okay, you know, we need 72 hours before we could list them as a missing person. And they put that on the national news or the local news or whatever because that's what they assume. But an actual like parental abduction, it's not like a parent's gonna abduct a child and just go down the street in another part of the
Yeah.
city. They're gonna go in another part of the country, or they're gonna get on a plane and board that plane and get the fuck out of the country and never return.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of kids actually go missing. Just the father, the mother couldn't say for sure it was the other parent who did it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
yeah,
there's
yeah.
cases where kids have been found 30 years later, and it was
Yeah.
that other parent who took them, right? So when they have the information, it's the best system they have. Otherwise, again, you know, they don't know the system. It's like, okay, shit, we gotta wait and figure out what's going on, you know?
All right. If you get a text message on your phone and it's a voice message, and you open it and it goes, "Yo, sup, man, Curtis Jackson. I just want to tell you right now, for 50 cents a day, you can feel
like
me."
50.
Are you mad? Are you gonna be like, "No, this is"?
Well, look what happened with U2 when they did that thing with Samsung.
But
No, that
do
was
you
that
wanna-
was
People were
iPhone.
pissed.
But
that
do
was
you want to
iPhone.
feel like Bono though? That just sounds pause-worthy.
You're talking about like when the iPhones
Feel
had
like
all
Bono.
of the yeah. I woke up one day when I had an iPhone at
A
the
lot
time.
of people were pissed
I
at
woke up
that.
and I had a U2 album. I was like, oh shit, check that out.
I don't know why you get
the U2
pissed out
album.
because you got a free album. Just delete
Yeah,
it.
just take it. You don't
No,
have to delete it.
I heard you couldn't delete it
You
off the phone.
could.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
really?
could.
Yeah.
That was people's only argument.
Nah.
Oh man.
But I get it because it was pushed. It was
Do you know
pushed
what?
media, right?
That's one thing I can't stand
Some people
about
don't like
current
push
times
media.
too. I know we talk a lot about how people have gotten softer, or how things are much more like a conveyor belt, and
Right.
things don't have as much value in this internet time. But the one thing I really hate are the
Constant
overly
complainers.
sensitive, and I don't mean it in the PC way. I mean it in the like people who just fucking complain. Like
Yeah.
No, because
everything is complaint
Yeah,
worthy.
yeah,
yeah.
As long as I have a voice.
right.
Yeah.
Just give me something to say.
Yeah.
Oh man,
They just want to be
there's
heard.
Amber Alert, for fuck's sakes. Oh man, there was a fucking U2 album on my phone.
Yeah.
Oh man, it took me 20 minutes to get my fucking coffee this morning. Oh man, it's like, yo fam, there's people in this world starving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you
Shut
really
the
complaining
fuck
about?
up.
Yeah.
I can't stand people that just sit there fucking complaining.
No, I
And then
feel
they
you.
use social media as it. It just shows like
Yeah.
how fucking, like that's almost one of the worst things on social media.
Well,
Amongst all this other stuff that's like more like life changes, right? Like we grew up a certain way,
yeah.
and you almost like you have principles and morals behind certain things. So when you see a generation being raised differently, you're almost like,
Yeah.
well, there's value to these things that you're turning a blind eye to, kind of.
Right.
But the complaining thing is just like, it might be the worst because it's literally just fucking complaining.
No, I absolutely agree with you. And like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but for the most part, like I did a bunch of posts yesterday and today, but for the last like almost 2 months, I've really scaled back on my Facebook.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm still kind of lurking, but I've realized like I'm starting to grow like a deep like hate for it as an app,
Yeah.
because it's just turned into just people just. It's like, what are you talking about?
It's
What are you
va-
vanity and
saying right now?
complaining.
There's no
No substance.
citing resources. There's no substance. It's just complaining, and a lot of it's trolling. And what people are saying is with a lot of these memes, like there's funny memes, but there's memes there's memes that have literally taken people's empathy and thrown it through the floor to the
Yeah.
point where people have no fucking empathy for any other human being other than themselves
Yeah.
anymore. And the moment that you try to say, hey, bro, like, let's show some caring or whatever. Oh, you're a snowflake. You're a social justice warrior.
Yeah.
You're PC. And it's like, nah, I'm just like,
No, there is
I'm just human.
SJWs though, and PC is a thing.
I kind of get it.
But doesn't mean everybody's like that because they mentioned something.
I kind of get it. But again, at the same time, what is
No,
happening
see-
is our sense of community is being eroded on a
Well,
daily basis
it depends,
with a
too.
lot of these memes.
It depends too, because memes, firstly, are generally meant to be funny.
Yeah.
And I have always had a very dark,
Yeah.
very grotesque, very careless, I guess is a word you could use, but like careless about any other human.
Right.
Like, I joke about everything. I joke about death. I joke about potential death.
Yeah.
I joke about, like, me and my friends had a celebrity hit list bet, which actually currently still isn't over. We each picked 10 celebrities we thought were closest to their deaths. We each got a bonus.
celebrity death
we
list.
each got to pick a bonus rapper. And each time someone on someone's list dies,
Really dark.
we have to pay $10. Actually, rest in peace, Lipinski. He was one of us. Now
Yeah.
our bet's kind of over because we can't do it without.
No, it's
one
really
of the
dark.
members.
But it is what it is.
But,
I get it.
so yeah, like when MCA of the Beastie Boys died, like I
Right.
had to pay my homie $10.
You really betted on that shit, bro?
He bet on him.
Okay,
I
did
couldn't.
he have cancer at the time? He
Yeah,
died of cancer,
Yeah,
right?
he went
Yeah,
savage.
assholes, man.
He went savage, right?
I don't mean it like that, but I'm just like, come on, man. I get it. I get it though. I
nasty.
do get it though. I do get it.
But you know what I
We
mean?
got assholes.
But
Very dark. Like
Yeah, I get it though.
I find humor in everything.
No, yeah,
You know
I
what
get it,
mean?
I get
That's
it,
what
I
I'm
get
trying to
it.
say. Like the fact he did that, I'm like, I said the same thing. I'm like, you're an asshole for betting on him. But I was like, I found the humor in it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm like,
No,
because
there's
you're
humor.
such an asshole.
right,
Yeah.
there's humor. But
But-
what I'm saying is a lot of these memes, though, yes, there's funny memes.
It doesn't necessarily mean
But
it
there's
takes
some
you,
that
it's
are just-
taking your humanity though. Like I've laughed about things that people
This
would
guy
be
does.
disgusted at since I was fucking 8.
No.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
I still care about people.
No, I absolutely
You know
get
what I
it.
mean? It doesn't mean
I'm not talking about every meme, though. But there are a lot of memes that have been created in the last few years with false propaganda, false information,
That's
and just
facts.
dirty imagery, saying bigotry, racism, whatever. And these things are, again, eroding slowly at people's empathies. They're creating walls and not bridges in communities, whether it's online, or whether it's offline. Because if it's online, a lot of those sentiments are being carried back offline.
Yeah.
And if it's online, those offline sentiments are being carried online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So rather than us, again, we're the whole the whole wall thing. It's a metaphor for where we're at in society. Half of society wants to build a wall to shut out the rest of the world. And the rest of us are like, well, fuck this wall. Me personally, I don't like building walls. I like building bridges.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to connect with people. I don't want to lock people out. That's just who I am. But a lot of these memes right now and a lot of what's going on is just the eroding of people's empathy so that what they think is, hey, if it ain't me, fuck it. And because they're on the internet, they can sit there and express themselves all day, and they will find a group of collective people who will agree with what they're saying, and that's all they need. That's their herd for life. As opposed to them saying, you know what? Hey, man, maybe this is a little toxic. Maybe I need to think about something other than myself and start living outside of just this box. And, this...
But that box is very comfortable.
But yeah,
that's what's happening. The box is extremely comfortable.
let me play devil's advocate a little bit here, too, because...
That's where we get incels from.
Well, the thing is, I kind of have that mentality of, like, fuck everyone.
Yeah.
I don't mean it literally fuck everyone. Like, if something happens to somebody I know or care for, or somebody I like who's close to somebody I know, I'm like, oh damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel bad. But when, like, I hear a story of, like, person gets shot in the head in, like, Wisconsin, and, fucking random shooter on the street of fucking Texas kills 3 people, like, I don't sit here and get emotionally invested. I'm sorry.
Right. No, there's a difference between
to me,
reading a news story.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
No,
and
for
Shit
sure.
happens close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I
gonna
mean
hit
by
harder.
It's gonna hit hard.
What I
But
mean
I'm not
by
sitting here watching the news every day, feeling bad for every injustice and
Yeah.
every murder that happens to every
feel
single
you.
person. Like, no.
There's circumstances
I'm
to
not
all
saying
those
that.
situations.
Well,
I'm not
that's
saying
one
that
thing,
though.
but,
I'm not saying that though. What I'm saying is putting people in a position where just in life, it's like, for example, you know what? Fuck it. My wife, like, I'm married, so she better do everything that I fucking say. Otherwise, like, she ain't my wife. And you know what I'm saying? It's putting people in a position where it's just a very, very...
wife says.
Exactly, smart man. A
Happy
smart man.
life, happy life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I mean is...
Depends on your woman.
Is putting people in a very,
It really
very,
depends.
very self-centered position, self-centered state of mind, where all they care about for the most part is just what their bias is.
Yeah.
And as long as that can be confirmed, it doesn't matter who confirms it. And if anybody stands in the way of their bias, then it's fuck that person. Now, I have certain biases that I definitely stand by, but I am willing as a person to say, okay, you know what? Let me open up myself to understand you as a person, because this world isn't just my world. It doesn't just revolve around me. You get what I'm saying? So what we're doing now is we're creating people who are saying, you know what? If you're not like us, if you're not like me, if you don't identify with us, we want you dead. We don't even want you to exist. You know what I mean? So we're creating
I think
the
people have always
platform
been
for
like
that.
though.
They have, but
Now
the
it's just more out
platform,
in the open.
right. We're creating that platform, and not only we're creating that platform, we're creating that space where you don't have to leave your house because you can just live online and live within that particular, that particular section of the internet, where again, you're going to be bombarded with false information, with false things that just confirm your bias, things that make you already feel the way you want to feel,
It's like
as
reading-
opposed to confronting
It's like reading those
truths, right?
conservative, if you're a conservative, you watch conservative media, and you're fed their narratives, but it's not even true. So you're like, oh, I agree, because they said that. I'm not going to watch
Right.
this.
I'm not going to check.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cite the resources. I'm not going to check if this is.
Well, that's the problem with
false or
slanted
not.
media, right?
Yeah.
That represents certain angles. Is that you don't get
Right.
the devil's advocate factor.
Yeah.
That's why every time we talk about something, whether I agree or not,
Yeah, you gotta do that.
Unless
Yeah,
I'm
you
the one
wanna see
pushing
the other side of the
fight.
coin.
Yeah, but then usually one of you guys will be devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Like, we can sit here and agree on shit, but
Yeah, it would be fucking
Yeah.
boring as fuck.
that doesn't make sense. You
Well,
have
what
to
I'm-
get objective conversation, but
Yeah.
the media does not do that. Media pushes agendas,
Yeah.
so they don't want you to think from different perspectives,
Yeah.
right? If it's right-wing media, left-wing,
Yeah,
or if
exactly.
it's just capitalist, corporately funded media.
There's
You know what I mean?
absolutely, yeah, no, you know,
It's the same reason why Baysell, is it Baysell or I can't believe it's not
Can't believe
butter
it's
or
not butter.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's one of the
Margarine.
companies, whatever one sponsors yearly the Heart and
Cancer
Stroke
Run-
Foundation.
Yeah, it's a contradiction.
They
It's
they
oxymoron.
give the most amount of money any year
Yeah.
to funding the science of Heart and Stroke Foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all science that's found by the Heart and Stroke Foundation is not going to have anything negative to say
About that.
about the people
Yeah.
that keep the doors open and the lights on.
Exactly.
Right.
Even if they were to find it as the #1 cause of strokes
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
heart problems.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the problem with all media in the Western
Yeah.
world. Basically any country that's capitalist.
Yeah.
Is that the media is slighted to some degree, and it might not always be political, and that's where people really have an issue, really seeing between
Yeah.
the lines.
No,
'Cause
absolutely.
Politics, you can always fight the argument that this network is right wing, this
Yeah,
one
that's
is
what-
leftist,
yeah.
you know what I mean, and that they both
Yeah.
have agendas.
Yeah.
But it's the regular media that we see every day in our lives when we're on the subway, the ads we
Yeah,
see.
exactly.
This is the type of media that's really harming us mentally. Because this is the stuff that we just take at face value and
Yeah.
believe. You buy a thing of Baysell and it has the Heart and Stroke Foundation logo on it, you're like, you feel like you're doing a good thing by buying this. Meanwhile,
you,
you
I
just
feel you.
signed yourself a fucking contract.
They're
to get
working.
this
They're working
stroke another
together.
day.
They're working
You know
together,
what I mean?
man. Let's.
And
let's
that's the problem, right?
We'll
And
make
that's
them
why-
sick, and then we'll make money, raise
Yeah.
money to fucking
Exactly.
prevent
It
this
just keeps
thing.
the cycle
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
And someone else can't
That's-
penetrate the cycle
that's why I'm
because
not
you're the
big
one
on the
funding
cancer-
both
the
sides of
cancer
it.
things.
It's like the same way the Rothschilds built their fortune with wars.
Yeah.
You fund both sides and you make a
Right.
kill.
And a lot of people don't recognize that part of what happened in the wars.
No.
And don't want to.
Well, because you're not taught to.
Exactly.
You have to learn that by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, when you learn that there's a central banking family, like,
Yeah.
most people who give any fucking slight fuck about economics of this world or history
Yeah.
are baffled when they learn that.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
And that's why they don't
This
want to
can't
know
be
history.
the way the world's working.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you want to understand how money works,
You
there's-
never
there's-
look at the world the same
Yeah.
after.
Well, there's
and
three.
everything runs like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
Actually.
Well, what I was gonna say is there's three sovereign city states that run the three pillars of the world. One runs the military, one runs the religion, and one runs the bank.
Yeah,
And that's
DC.
Washington D.C. runs the military.
DC is its own city-state.
Right, it's its own city state.
The
Vatican runs the
and
military.
wherever Buckingham Palace is.
London City,
London
which is
City.
in actual London, and they run the
And they're
economic.
all their own.
They run the money.
Technically, they're all their own countries.
Yeah,
they
they're
run
all
by their own
yeah.
constitutions, have their own
Right.
militaries. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really interesting when you look into that shit. And all of a sudden we turn to the fucking Joe Rogan show. But yeah, it's really interesting to look into that.
No,
but
but
yeah,
it's
like
just the
I learned
fact
that
of what we're
a
saying.
long
It's
time
broken.
ago.
But it's just the fact of what we're saying is nothing is given to you
Yeah.
with an objective standpoint.
Exactly.
Because we live in a society where you're not wanted to be
Question.
objective.
You don't want to
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you that's why I think weed personally, like I know why it originally was illegal, the pulp
Yeah.
industry, and to keep racial control over
Yeah.
certain
Medicines,
segregations, groups.
medicines, propaganda.
But now it's like
segregation.
they're benefiting
but-
from selling it. It's selling a suspect.
It's
Well,
Prohibition
the
2.0.
thing is, I think it got
because the people benefiting from it right now, they're already rich. They're already
Yeah.
corporatized.
Yes. But
It's
the,
not the
the
regular
reason
person.
there's a reason why after this they kept it illegal for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people who are very powerful really didn't want people smoking weed because once you start to smoke weed,
You start asking questions.
you start asking questions
It's the
and
same
looking
reason
at
why
the
it's
world
illegal in
another way.
Cuba.
I can even tell you, like in this last week,
course.
since Ryan passed, I've been smoking weed every day again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I kind of, as much as I hate being high, like
Yeah.
the munchies and the tiredness
Yeah.
part, I miss what it was like being high mentally.
Well, they
You know what I
said
mean? I'm like,
if
I
you
love
go,
this part of it.
yeah, if you go
It's just
back
the
and
other
watch,
shit that like I'm not huge on. But like
Yeah.
the way it opens your mind and all that shit, I'm like, I miss this part.
yeah,
I used to be like this all the time. I'd be wandering around work just thinking about, you know what I mean?
like
Like
wandering, tripping out and shit.
me
Now,
having
if you-
revelations of life
If
in
you
my head.
actually like go back and look at some of the propaganda that they had against marijuana at that time when they were trying to come up with prohibition for marijuana, they said the people who smoke it are jazz musicians and intellectuals. Ain't nothing wrong with being intellectual, but what that means if you're an intellectual is that you are going to play the devil's advocate in certain
Yeah.
conversations. If you're going to play the devil's advocate in certain conversations, it means they can't pull the wool over your fucking eyes,
Yeah.
and they can't pass bills that they want to pass without people asking questions like, "Hey, what's that? Why are we
That's
passing
why
this
like the hippie
bill?"
movement was one of the biggest movements to actually do
Yeah,
anything
absolutely.
civilly.
Absolutely.
as far as like wars and stuff,
Yeah.
like that we've seen,
And
The
that's
hippie,
the thing,
movement,
right?
the hippie movement ties in heavy to the civil rights movements in ways
Yeah.
that people don't necessarily
They
understand.
don't,
I would like
but
to.
it is. They're,
Yeah.
they're
No,
hand
they
in
actually do.
hand.
I would say that the hippie movement, by far and large, is
But all
probably
these
the white
brainwashed
branch
white
of the
kids-
civil rights movement.
And
They were
these
the.
brainwashed white kids didn't just care because it was the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
They cared because there was a huge inflection of them doing substances that opened their minds.
Yeah,
to
they
look
see
at
see
things
something
differently.
differently. Yeah.
I would also say as much as the substance, because you can see almost a dichotomy of this if you watch the Sugar Man, Searching for Sugar Man documentary.
Okay.
What a lot of this is these were middle class white kids who were going, to like Berkeley and going to these
Yeah.
Southern California universities, who by far and large they were brought up on black music and jazz, and they were brought up with the notion of, hey man, these people are they're just like us, give them their fair share, give them their just dues.
Yeah.
So because they had so much influence and they come from these politically well families, it was like, hey, let's start our own revolution. Let's in a way they're kind of like I said, like the white branch of
To
the
a
civil
degree,
rights
but
movement, right?
I think the weed smoking and the drugs of the time, more mentally stimulating drugs, had a lot to do with it as well too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause it's got
Right
those
now,
lines.
hip hop is the biggest genre of music.
Yeah.
There's more musical black influence in the world now than there has ever been.
I don't know about that.
Yes.
I don't know.
If we do break it,
Because the
I don't
thing
know.
is, the greatest genres have been created and stolen
I've
from
heard-
black
yeah,
music.
but when you look at
But
blues,
The
jazz,
blues, jazz, first
Rock,
off, it's
funk,
things like rock
disco.
and disco
Yeah.
that become white stolen versions
Yeah,
that
yeah,
become
of
the
course.
biggest music in the
Of
world.
course.
Hip hop is the first time that like black culture has had its finger directly on the
Not
pulse.
true. Not true at all.
You
Not
don't
true at
think
all.
so? Not with
Jazz is the
pumping-
first
Yeah, but
great
with
American
jazz wasn't-
contemporary art form, bro.
You didn't have girls chasing you like the Beatles on jazz.
Hey man,
music
you
and
better
shit.
talk to Miles Davis.
Man,
You better talk to Dizzy Gillespie and these people, man.
Yeah,
Cab Calloway, man. You better talk to
no,
some of
but
these
no, what
Harlem
he's
dudes,
saying,
bro.
what he's saying is that the form of music that was taken, well, I won't use the word taken, but taken from white artists and utilized and made bigger, and having the Beatles effect, having the Rolling Stones effect, having the Elvis effect,
Jazz and blues, man.
Miles Davis ain't ever sell out the same size venue that the Beatles were.
I don't know
That's
about
what he's
that.
trying to say. So what's
This
a
is what I'm
jazz?
trying to
What's
say.
a jazz
Now look
contemporary?
at now you
compared
got
to Miles Davis.
you
who's
literally
white?
directly not being stolen from them. You and this current time
Yeah.
directly have the black musicians selling out venues bigger than half the white artists that are in the market right now.
Yeah.
And they are the larger majority. The white people are the minority in hip hop
No, as talent.
as talent.
Yeah, the difference is.
So,
the difference is.
That's what I'm
between-
trying to
yeah.
say as far as like at this time more now than ever, there's more white
Yeah.
kids growing up like these people are
Yeah.
just like me. I love these people.
But-
I wish I was
but
black.
this is the
All
thing,
these
though.
other
But the
things
thing is,
than
though,
I would say there was after jazz
Yeah,
music.
But
and
this is
after
the
this
thing,
stuff.
though. But this is the thing, though.
And
we
you
gotta
don't have a
know.
movement like this right now from fucking white
But
kids
this
in
is the
college.
but this is the difference,
I don't
right?
know,
The
man.
difference is this: the level of discrimination that was back then till now. It's two different levels of discrimination.
People
back
look
then
at it
it
now
was
like everything all good.
yeah. Back then it was
Because
heavy,
they
yeah.
listen to rap. And
It was a
because their
divide.
favorite
It
musicians
was a
are
divide
black.
between black and white. There's towns and
That is
areas
true.
where you couldn't go.
That's true.
Musicians would perform at places where they
No,
could
'cause
only
there's an
perform
idea
and
passed
not
off
be, yeah,
to you.
yeah.
Like a lot of stupid suburban white people don't
Yeah.
even realize there is still race issues.
None, they don't, because they don't.
Because they're that oblivious to it.
Yeah, and that's
so
fine.
you are correct.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
that plays a
Yeah.
huge factor as well too.
But even though it is there, it isn't.
it's almost
Yeah.
because it is accessible.
Yeah, it's
Like
kind of.
you know what I mean? You interact with people of different cultures everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Your favorite musicians are black.
Yeah.
Also, you just feel like you're like
And you're now like the stigma of being
people
a
who
women.
don't.
Even the
and because
stigma.
hip hop isn't socially aware, like we
Yeah.
were saying before,
And the
people who
stigma-
are a fan of it
yeah.
aren't aware and to even open their eyes into the
and
world.
the stigma
see what
of
the
being
fuck
a
it is.
wigger
The thing
doesn't
was,
exist anymore.
The thing was though, with
Yeah.
That's true.
It's
Does
there,
wigger
but it's not.
exist anymore.
Like the stigma's not there no more.
I guess that's kind of true.
Like, I'm not saying people still don't get called that.
Yeah, but the
But,
stigma.
Yeah, because back then it was like the few white people that were into it were
yeah.
demonized.
Yeah.
Now they're all.
Everyone's
It's
into it.
normalized.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't matter if a white kid
That's
is
a good
wearing
point,
hip hop
too.
clothes or not.
So there's a lot of different ways, I guess, that it changes and that you look at it. But I personally
Yeah.
think because and nowadays too.
Yeah,
To take
we
it back
progressed
to
a lot.
substances.
America-
People are doing a lot of downers, a lot of mind-numbing drugs now.
Alright,
Yeah.
but to talk about like black influence, talk about hip hop, this and that and the other. Like, let's be 100% honest about this. America and Canada,
Yeah.
but America's whole notion of cool and what is cool and selling products is based off of black people. If it works with a black audience,
Kind of.
it's gonna work. Music by
It
far
kind
and
of has
large,
been for a long time though.
right? So
Yeah.
when you're saying like hip hop, more white people are influenced today by hip hop. To be completely honest with you, contemporary art from the moment slaves got off the slave ships and started playing the instruments for their slave owners in New Orleans, where they really developed jazz and they were allowed to keep their instruments and they were allowed to go down to the squares every Sunday and whatnot. Black people have been the vanguards of music by far and large and art. You know what I'm saying? So
And I never
I can't
said
say
they
that-
weren't.
no,
But
no,
what
but
I
I
was
guess-
saying is the direct influence. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
like
Proportionately,
name
I'd say
me
it's the same.
name me 5 jazz musicians that have sold millions of records. Name me 5 blues artists who have sold millions of records. Even you want to compare it per capita to the population now to the population then.
If I
you'd
couldn't
be
name
hard
you
pressed to
five,
find me
yeah.
5
If I couldn't
in
name
each
you
genre
5, I
that
could
are
name
doing
you-
as well per capita.
If I couldn't
all
name you
taking like
But
you know,
again, the
I could
as
name
well
you
per
5 that were
capita.
influenced by
But
the ones
those-
before.
but
Like a
those-
Kenny G, for example,
Yeah.
wouldn't exist without Miles Davis.
I know
and the
that.
people
I
before
know
him,
what
Yeah,
right?
homage is. I
Yeah.
know all
The
this
Rolling
stuff. I know what
Stones
steal.
wouldn't
That's why I
exist.
said in my point.
Yeah.
Stole everything stolen from black music.
Right.
Everything. But the Rolling Stones weren't selling the same amount of records that fucking Dizzy Gillespie was selling.
Yeah.
No. The Rolling Stones were selling a lot more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You've never
And
had a
it's-
time in
yeah.
Western civilized history where directly the black creator and musician was directly with his finger on
Well,
the
you-
pulse.
well,
They
hold
might
on,
have
hold on, hold on,
they
hold
might
on,
have
hold on, hold on,
they
hold
might
on,
have in the
hold on, hold on,
background.
hold on.
We have.
No,
You gotta
give
by
or
the
take,
pulse,
hold
I
on,
mean, like,
and-
Give or take,
literally
give or take,
directly
hold on, give or
touching
take.
these white
Give or
kids
take, give
in
or
these
take, give or
suburban
take,
areas.
give or take, give or
Bro.
take. Michael Jackson, yes.
Yes.
Give or take. There's other people. I'm just that's the
But
closest
the
thing.
Michael Jackson is one thing. In this generation, you have
No, you have numerous.
tons of them.
But again, the difference in our
Tons.
because
In
our
one
society,
genre.
if our society, because
That's another
but it's
factor.
because our society
But
has
it's the
changed.
biggest genre in the world.
But
when
again,
rock and roll was out, the biggest genre in the world wasn't blues or jazz. It was rock and roll.
It
Yeah.
depends what time period you're talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
not early rock, but obviously
Right.
70s forward.
But the problem is at the end of the day, because society has changed in terms of how we deal with each other socially, is the reason why we're this way with hip hop today. It's not because hip hop is the biggest thing. Hip hop became the
Right.
biggest thing over what, a 30, 40-year time period?
Yes.
Based under certain circumstances,
But
based
hip-
on the fact that it was never accepted for a good
Right,
10,
right.
15, 20
and
years.
hip hop,
Majority of
Yeah,
it.
so
and hip hop by far and
It
large is
hasn't
an
been socially
amalgamation.
accepted.
yeah, for a while.
For a lot more than it has been.
Yeah,
Hip
so
hop
maybe from
history.
2000
Hip hop is an
now,
Kind of
amalgamation.
started.
yeah.
Hip hop
Yeah.
is literally an amalgamation of
All these
funk,
classic
of
genres.
disco, of blues, of jazz, of a little bit of reggae. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an amalgamation of all these other
Directly.
forms of black music that existed prior to it. But a lot of it's just as far as the way we a lot of our beats, a lot of our drums, jazz. A lot of our attitude is straight up like Miles Davis and the way these guys were. You gotta remember, up until like 1990, the majority of like just older black people who, like our grandparents, our parents,
Yeah.
friends, whatnot, they're bumping jazz and shit, bro. Like jazz is an
And that's where a lot of
unbelievably
the samples came
extremely
from.
popular form of black music right up until I would bet you the early 90s is when it really started to dive and we don't hear about it so much. But up until that point, like that, it was the driving, you know what I'm saying? It was the preeminent form of music, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And
And
well,
I
again,
understand that. But the
artistically,
point I'm making,
but what I want to say, no, artistically, it is revered as and you can look it up, is revered as the highest form of music ever invented in the Americas.
yeah.
So
well, we
what
talked
I'm
about
trying to
this
say
last
is,
week.
no,
It's
so what I'm
the
trying
most. It takes the most talent to be a jazz musician than any
right,
other
right.
artist.
So you know
That's
what
why
I'm saying? Like, it's different
anytime you
times,
learn
different
an instrument,
population.
They say you should learn it on jazz
Yeah,
first.
but I get what he's
So I
saying.
agree what
because
you're saying.
Then you know
Because
how to play it in any genre.
like I said, the Beatle effect with those people didn't exist. I mean, people probably loved them and whatever the case may be.
Yeah, there was some. Chuck Berry,
But-
for example, definitely had the Beatles.
But if you,
Chuck Berry definitely had.
But if you turn into
That's
the
why they threw him in
Drake,
jail.
the Travis Scott,
Chuck
the
Berry
et
was the
cetera,
first
the
Drake.
Kanye's, the whoever, They have the Beatle effect right now.
No, Chuck Berry
And
definitely
you have a
was.
lot of
Yeah, a lot
that's
of
what I'm trying to say.
No, but Chuck
Like,
Berry was
as
definitely
much as
that first dude.
all music that has been stolen from black people. I'm not saying that, but when the
Yeah.
Rolling Stones are there selling out stadiums
Right.
and they're in the ears of the white suburban youth in all these cities,
Yeah.
these white suburban youths aren't looking at it like, oh, we're listening to like a rendition of Muddy Waters.
I get it,
They're
I
listening.
get it,
They're
because
like, we're listening to these skinny white drug addicts.
Majority of
I
the
get
time,
it.
That's who has their ear.
Because majority of
It's
the time
not-
they
it
didn't know
wasn't
those people even
directly-
existed.
So that's the point I was trying to
Yeah.
make in that.
I
And
get
right
it.
now, like, if the blues was the case of why white college kids were so socially aware at that time, then you should have a much higher flux of it right now, because there's a lot more white kids in college
Yeah.
and all around this world
But the thing
directly
is-
influenced.
But the thing is, hip
Directly,
hop is not
very
But
deeply.
hip hop doesn't have that message in the music right now.
That's the
And that's-
other
yeah,
problem.
right.
That was kind of the point I was
It's
trying
not
to
Yeah.
built
make.
on that today, right?
There's
Yeah.
nobody talking about
Yeah.
it, and to
Yeah.
to go to your point in which you were saying,
Yeah.
like, everybody kind of looks at everything like it's all good right
Yeah.
now.
We're in a different
You know what I
social
mean?
social political era
So,
yeah,
than we
all
were
those
at
goals-
And
that
we're
time.
post everything, but a lot of the post everything is still embedded in our society.
Yeah.
Well, okay, again, this boils
kinda
down
weird.
to a conversation we were having earlier, where I said in today's day and age, you know, because of memes and things like that, people are more just they're isolated themselves. Back
Yeah.
then, we didn't have the internet. We had community. We had newspapers. We had, especially where, you know, these hippies existed. They had university, you know, young people who were coming together with their ideas and their ideals on what society should be, right?
Yeah.
So they weren't isolating themselves so much. They were getting out into the real world and realizing we need to
That's
change
another big problem
Yeah.
with this
the world
society.
as
is the
opposed to
isolation.
isolating.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now the hip hop, even the hip hop that we have, again, back in the day, it was about us getting out of our neighborhoods and showing the world, like, yo, we're regular people.
Getting
We need to change
together.
this world. We're getting together,
Unifying.
unifying. You know, saying now it's more about, especially, you know, after the '90s with a lot of like
Access.
gang stuff or whatever. It's like, yo, this is my block. Don't come to my block. I'll shoot you. Da 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 da. Right? It was about
It
isolate,
segregated itself back
exactly,
into different,
right?
yeah.
So you know what I mean, and that's kind of what, again, some of these
And that's
things the
kind of
internet's
what-
kind of doing, and certain things, and you know, we need to get back to that community based,
Well, and the
that
thing you
community
said,
mentality.
that's why Atlanta's winning.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
had to
because
sit
they
on the
have a-
sidelines for the whole '90s while the hip hop.
I don't
was
think
doing
they
its
sat
thing.
on the sidelines.
They did
though.
their thing.
They did their thing,
But they were
But
isolated.
Come on,
by-
Outkast
from the outside
wasn't like,
community.
you know,
They weren't
influencing
accepted.
the
They didn't have to be
nation like
Outkast.
West
Yeah,
But
Coast
they
were.
were.
TLC was.
They were.
Outkast
They were.
was.
Degrees.
Jermaine
But they
Dupri
weren't-
was.
They were
Chris
doing
Cross
it on the
was.
basis of
Even
their reach.
EPMD and Tupac moved
and what
down there.
other people accepted. Remember, they sold like
EPMD and Tupac
records.
going down there has nothing to do with
But
the
there's
overall
more.
a lot of-
influence.
But there's
those
more
moved
people that
down
Well,
went
the
down
rest
there.
of hip hop segregated itself because they were running the map.
A lot of people
New
moved down
York
to Atlanta.
early in the 90s.
Atlanta
then
was the
LA,
town where if you
and
were-
then,
A lot of people left New York to go to Atlanta.
And a
It's
lot
not
of people
just
left
Atlanta.
LA to
I
go
know
to
that.
Atlanta.
A
I
lot.
know that.
So Atlanta became that bridge town. Instead of building a wall,
But
they
what
built a bridge where it's
Atlanta
like,
did-
come to us, and like you could, you'll say no matter where you're from.
It didn't
move
fall
here.
victim to the segregation of
No.
hip hop that we're talking about, where
No,
the
they
unity
built
was
it- they
destroyed.
built a bridge, not a
They
wall.
actually
Yeah.
built themselves up by
Yeah.
unifying.
Yeah.
They built a bridge,
And the rest
not
of
a
the
wall.
country sat there and segregated itself. This is my block.
whole South
Not
did.
even they can't even unify their city.
The whole
They're
South
arguing
did.
over the block.
Yeah.
They're arguing over this and that. Atlanta's like, yo,
Over
we're
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Remember, every
The whole
Oh, you're
South
from
did.
Atlanta?
But this is the
That's
thing,
cool.
though,
You
right?
live here.
The whole
Every
South did.
place has their own history. Like I was watching that Killer Mike on one of those shows,
Yeah.
and he spoke about where he grew up
Yeah.
and how it was a middle class black neighborhood.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this, that, and-
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that- Atlanta's roots and its history is the reason why they've always been unified.
Yeah.
That's how they
That's
grew
how
up.
they
Yeah.
were built.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
New York is a whole different situation. You always hear about the different boroughs in New York
Yeah.
because that's a lot of people don't even go to different parts.
Where
of
you
New
go
York.
back even like gangs in New York times. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? 5 points. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
the neighborhoods had issues.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like, yeah.
So that's
So
my
it's
thing.
just-
And that, but
Yeah.
that also goes back to segregation too. It started as segregation because this was
Yeah.
like the Italian neighborhood.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
was the
Right,
Irish
right.
fucking pieces
Yeah,
of shit.
Right.
it's not like
This
they
is-
chose
this was
to
the-
be
yeah.
to do that. It was the circumstances of how America was when they got
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up.
But that's what I'm saying. That me personally, I build bridges. I don't want to build walls. You know what I mean? And
Facts.
when you start building bridges and you start communicating with people on the other side of that bridge, you just oh shoot, you got this, I got this, let's barter. You know what I mean? Instead of yo, I'm building this wall, you can't get in. I don't care what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like
I'm
you
just
switch
I'm
it
only
up.
building the bridge though if Olu Dara's on the other end of it playing a saxophone or a flute for him.
Shout out to Nas's pops, man. How long
What
we been doing
instrument
this?
did
I'm
Olu
hungry.
play?
Trumpet.
Trumpet.
Yeah.
Trumpet. All them
Trumpet.
horns are the same. As long as you're not playing the recorder. I'm good.
That's the thing too that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these New York rappers who really started hip hop, especially the guys who came through the golden age or the early '90s, whatever, they're the sons of former jazz musicians.
Yeah, Rakim.
Right? Rock Nas, right? You know what I mean? Like their
Well, there's
pops,
two,
their parents.
but-
No, there's a few others.
I know there is
You know,
a
but
couple.
their families moved up
Travis
from the
Scott.
south.
Did you know Travis Scott is the son of like a jazz musician?
I believe it.
Yeah.
One of DJ Premier's like dad's
I
friends
believe
or
it.
something like
Yeah,
that.
I believe
He's
it.
like, I remember Travis when he was like a little kid.
Prodigy's parents.
He's my man, so and so's.
Prodigy's
Yeah.
parents are musicians. I'm pretty sure Q-Tip's parents are musicians. A lot of people's parents are musicians. If not musicians, DJs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's you know, there's stuff that predates hip hop and they had communities and
Nah,
whatnot.
nothing.
Hip hop was just
hip-hop.
like
hip hop is the only
Nah,
thing.
man.
Hip hop.
you know, and there's so much more. Like we
Hip-hop's-
only talk about
hip-hop's
rap
not
on
even
this
a
show.
music,
Yo,
it's
my
not even a
piss
music.
We only
so
talk about
long.
rap on this fucking show. We don't even talk about the fashion and how some of this fashion predates the music. You know what I mean? Like I've seen pictures from like the late 60s and 70s. I'm like, damn, these guys look fresh. And in the back of my head, I think, yo, I wouldn't rock anything prior to this date. And I see these guys, I'm like, damn, they were so hip hop before hip hop was even coined.
Well, hip hop came
You know,
from
so
something.
it was a vibe, man. It's a vibe. It's a feeling. It's a
Hip-hop
way
is
of
an
life,
amalgamation
man.
as
You know what
well.
I'm saying? It's
Hip-hop
not just
is
the
an
rap. And all we
amalgamation.
talk about is the
Yeah.
rap on this show. And that's what 90% of the people, when they complain about hip hop, they're just complaining about rap. But they ain't even complaining about the shit they get for free. They ain't really talking about hip hop. Hip hop's a way of fucking life. And it don't stop or start at any particular date or with any particular artist. It goes, man.
No, it
If
starts
you don't
when
like
you
that
pick up
artist,
your
check
first
out the
graffiti
breakdance.
can,
Right,
when you
man.
rock your first robot,
Right.
and you've rocked your first rhyme, and then you lose your virginity, and then
Yo, that's
How many
what's
people
up.
that listen to rap in the new generation even did a robot or tried or
You know.
I don't know. But if you
Yeah,
haven't,
enough
at
of
least,
this
if you
rant,
haven't
though, man.
slept on a park bench at least once in your life, you're not hip hop.
I don't know about all that. I ain't trying to sleep on a park bench. But yo, we got any
Everybody
guests?
slept on a park bench.
I'm gonna fall asleep on a park bench briefly.
I'm still sleeping.
There you go. We got any guests coming
How
up
many
soon? Though?
shows
We
these
haven't had
guys
any
got
guests in
in
a
here?
while, man.
I
Who's
don't
coming
know.
on? I thought we were supposed to have Gary from 100 Miles. What's going on, Gary? You coming through or what, man?
Fuck all guests except Gary.
Alright. Let's bring Frozes through. And a cat. Alright, man. I'm hungry. I want to go home. I need some
Wow.
We're at our time.
food. We
right
were just
now.
having fun this
Plus,
episode,
plus.
shooting the shit.
Yo.
We'll be back. Love y'all. Toronto
Yo, we
Talks.
should take Madonna's Frozen beat and do a cover called Frozes.
Oh, man.
Now I'm frozen.
Man, shout out Madonna. Let's do a Madonna episode. We need to talk about. Let's talk about the '80s one day. You don't know much about the '80s, do you?
I only know that
Can we do an 80s
I was
episode?
conceived on crack in the 80s.
Oh my God, that's why you're so fucked in the head.
Mia Khalifa is a shitty porn star. I don't see what all the hype is about. I watch her get fucked for free, and I want a refund. Okay, she's one of the very few brown girls to do porn. Who cares? Ride that dick like you mean it.
Where
What
did
the
that come
fuck?
from? Like, is that how
My
we're ending the
Facebook is
episode?
lit, bro. I love my fucking
Wow.
all the people that are my friends with. I love you all, man. You guys would
This
make my
guy's
day.
sitting here surfing fucking.
No. I'm reading right off of here, bro.
No, so saying this guy's sitting here surfing Facebook. All of a sudden decides to read somebody's status at the end
Pay
of
for
the episode,
porn?
and it's about Mia Khalifa. Well, shout out Mia Khalifa.
I see her on her knees undressed, then a piece once a skis one.
She got a unibrow, right?
Like Mia
Mia
Khalifa's
Khalifa-
chest.
She got a unibrow.
Oh.
Ah, man.
Oh well, shout out Mia Khalifa, man.
Albie
Shout out.
Khalifa.
Shout out all the girls who,
Mia
you know what I'm
Shore.
saying, like, they're comfortable enough to do that. Hey, man, guys are comfortable enough to do that. That's on you, man. You know what I'm saying? Nothing
Hey.
wrong with it. Shout out
Mia
Mind Bender, man. He
Khalifa.
came in and he dropped the science on, you know, being a porn star.
Yeah,
man.
now let's get the fuck out.
Someone's got to
of
make
this
those videos for Pornhub, man.
It's the Mad Hatter!
Oh, my
You better
God.
do that shit,
Stop
eh?
yelling, man.
Yeah.
We out.
Do that
Toronto
shit.
Talks. I can't take
Who's
the
that?
yelling.
Oh,
I'm
with
going to get some
Snoop?
food. One love, baby.
With my
Peace.
mind up. Oh, she's chilling with Snoop? Fucking girl.
What's chilling with Snoop?
Yeah, girl.
This girl I know that works with my boy Shine in the thing. Oh, this was at a fucking All-Star weekend. Oh damn. I want to bang her. But I gotta do the taste to bang her.
Pass on, I was still recording up there.
God damn. Show
Man,
the
they're
party
yelling though. It's so random, man. That shit's gonna fuck up people's ears.
The Mad Hatter.
I'm done.
Ah.